Hello, 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 everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye, and I am sitting here with the recovering Democrat Donovan Saadiq, and it is the Demetra Kaye Show where we promote or we talk about Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even. Like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants because this is probably one of the only shows that read each and every comment because we feel like you should be included in the conversation instead of just watching Donovan and I bump our gums, right? So anyway, I forgot to reach out to Marcus, but I want to thank him for helping us on Facebook to spread the word. And if you guys can do us a favor, please like and share. And as I always say, we might dance at your wedding. So today we are asking the question. And listen, I know what 304 means and is because, like, when we were kids in high school, now that's how far back it goes. We used to type it in on a calculator and turn it upside down. What does that say? Type of thing. So anyway, we're going to discuss who is to blame for the 304 culture. And of course, I'm going to get a little bit more into that in just a minute. But Donovan, what say you before we get started?
All right. You guys know when it is 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, it means it is the Demetra Kaye time. That means we can catch in the Demetra Kaye. We want to thank you guys for tuning in with us because we know you guys have a lot of platforms out there that you guys can talk with and enjoy and, get your new Black media feed and information. But we are thankful that you guys decided to join us. Do us a favor. Look at the bottom of the screen here. You're going to see a banner scrolling across. It shows where you guys can donate. For those of you guys that donate, we thank you very much. But it does take time to put in some money to produce a show, and anything that you do and contribute would be great. Also, it also shows where you can catch our podcast. You guys, that's right. Demetra Kaye has a podcast, the Demetra Kaye Show podcast, and you can catch it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and all types of podcasting platforms. So this is going to be an interesting topic. I noticed just before we chimed in, my name was already mentioned. So let's get into it.
All right, y'all. So before we get started, I'm going to read the comments that are here. And Moni, how you doing? It says, happy year of the tiger. Welcome, Demetra and beautiful Donovan. Much Detroit love to both of you guys. This is the water tiger year that allows people to have their feelings and disposition exposed. Ooh. You also say, be with you guys in a minute. I love the topic, Demetra. I sent you a video. I hope you got it, Demetra. I would love for you to be able to talk with you soon on getting up on the show that we can do together. Okay, I will have to check. I didn't see it, but I will check my email. And above and beyond and forever, how you doing? Say, who's to blame? Come on, Demetra. Oh my God. I'm just asking questions. Fight for Black, how you doing? It says Black first from the ATL, Demetra, Donovan, and Black family. Yes, indeed. And how you doing? Monet, what's going on with you? And Thunder, you say somehow they will find a way to blame the Black man for this one. I'm just asking questions, and so was Donovan. Yo, better, how you doing? It says, good evening, Demetra Kaye, Donovan, and Black First Fam. Yes, indeed. One who cares. How you doing? Good evening to you as well. Facts not feelings. It said, finally got the notification. Peace and love, fam. Yeah. And Tawana, how you doing? Tracy, Robin, Don, what's going on? Yo, better, it says, just finished watching your commentary on Kim and Kanye. Great points from both of you. Well, thank you so much. That is from the podcast that we do Tuesday and Saturday, roughly. And Thunder says, yes, with our Texas Instrument calculators, exactly. And Marty says, where is the lipstick, Demetra? Oh, gosh, that's your trademark. Don't come on without it. It's beautiful, Donovan. I see you watching something over there. What you watching? And LT, how you doing? He says that Thunder, I hope not. And Sunlight, what's going on? All right. So you guys have probably been really hearing this 304 term go around YouTube and other internet spaces, if you will, probably within the last couple of months or so. And it's not a new term, but it has been reworked and, it's been made fashionable again. And so that is, if you will, a polite way of calling or saying ho, right? So if you flip it, if you write the words 304, you type it in the calculator and you flip it upside down, then it will basically spell hoe, right? So anyway, we've been hearing the term hoe culture. And for those of you guys who maybe don't know what a hoe is, it's considered to be, and I don't want to say a loose woman because I think the term hoe can be attributed to man and woman. Okay, so from what I understand, it is a person who is loose with their body and they like to share a lot. And you know, you got something to say, Donovan?
Well, no, I was reading Sunlight's comments. She's ready to get going. Now,
Oh,
let's change that a little bit. Let's not say loose, because I think that's a little, the vernacular in that, implies too much. How about say popular? Somebody who's very, very popular.
okay. How about that? So that's somebody who's sexually popular. Let's just, keep it real as much as we can. So it's somebody who is sexually popular, if you will. Okay. So again, we keep hearing this term go around, and usually it is attributed to women, right? Then when people are talking about, I don't care who it is, if it's you know Kevin Samuels and all these other podcasts or video shows or whatever it was is, I've always heard them say 304 culture. So I'm like, okay, so they're gonna bring that back, right? So again, I've heard that used in regards to women. So we want to know what it is, in your opinion, and who is responsible for 304 culture.
Well, before we get into that, let's ask this question. Is there a 304 culture? Yeah. Is there actually a 304 culture going on? I mean, because we don't want to say something that doesn't exist.
I mean, I think the 304 culture per se has been around since the beginning of time. I mean, if for those of y'all who read the Bible, they was talking about some 304 culture in there. So this is not new behavior, if you will. And so when I see the resurgence of the word, I'm wondering, is it getting worse? Or has the word, as I said, just been made fashionable again? Is that, and I know a lot of times on these spaces, there's certain things you can't say without getting demonetized and all that kind of stuff. And so I think maybe that's why people are using that word or the numbers rather, 304 instead of the actual word. But we've seen it nevertheless. And so, like I said, is it something that's getting worse, out of hand, or what? Y'all tell me, because I don't know nothing about being on 304.
Yes, I'm going to have to agree with that. But see, this is going to be a little different there, because I know the ladies are waiting for me to put out my
brother.
Yes, y'all are ganging up, ready for me to put out my Ike-isms. But guess what? If you didn't buy the book, I'm not going to spoil it for you. However, 304 culture, does it exist? I believe it does. If you guys listened to the podcast yesterday, I mentioned something in regards to the mentality of the modern woman. It seems like the modern woman has a prostitute's mentality. Now, when I say prostitute's mentality, I don't mean that in a negative connotation, okay? A prostitute's mentality is basically this: a woman that goes out there and gets it at any cost. If she has to sell her body, whatever she's going to do. Above all else, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to use my sexuality to get what I need to get and to get this dude. Now, when I look at these young women and I look at the videos on YouTube, I look at the music videos, I look at the dance culture, I look at all this stuff, the media, all of this stuff, I see a 304 culture. I see a prostitute's mentality in a lot of these younger generation girls and all of this stuff. Nobody's talking about getting married. Nobody's talking about relationships. Everybody's talking about getting the bag. So this is going to be a really good topic, because I know y'all ready to come for me, but guess what? I'm ready.
Especially when you said modern, you joined modern women and prostitution together. So
well, what do you call it? When you're out there and you're taking money for your OnlyFans, how do you up a situation? And I'm not saying OnlyFans is all about sexual stuff, but you're out there using your body for people to donate money to you. You're not giving them anything other than your sexuality. Now, in a platform like this, we're giving knowledge. Now, I would love for you to get up and start twerking, which would be a prostitute's mentality of getting money, because I'm using you to get money, correct? So how can you say that that's not the mentality? And then we big up, this women's movement, and women can't do this and women can't do that. Black women are the only group of women, in my opinion, that up themselves. Girl, we queens. I don't hear no other group doing stuff like that to up themselves and talk to themselves up like that. Because you know what? If you're a queen, you don't have to tell anybody. It's already known by how you act and how you conduct yourself. So I got the ladies riled up as I see, so I'm ready. Let's get into it.
I'm going to hold my commentary tour after the comments, y'all, because I already know I ain't got to say much. Ricky, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing and where you been? You say, hey, D and Don, yo, what is 304 culture? So I hope I explain that, and Donovan as well. Mona says, I heard this beautiful song on Instagram is going to be the hot number one thing for social media. Unfollow me. Oh, yeah, I saw that by Tony Enigwe. I think that's how you say it. Says, unfollow me. I think you'll like it. Too much control going on in our communities. Let's take it back. Yes, I heard the song. It's pretty funny. He also said 304. In the old days, when you texted on the beepers, 403, which meant ho-ho. Excellent way to describe it instead of just being out front. So people don't have to have channels canceled. Yes, so I believe that's probably why people use that. And Candor, how you doing? He said it exists and we see it daily. Yes, indeed. And JoJo 4040, how you doing? Or JoJo, sorry, J-Jo, I'll get it right. The baby boomers created the sexual revolution. Bringing some history to this, huh? And Gilberta says 304 culture has been around during biblical times. Yes. Enrique says, oh, 304 culture is about sexting. Oh, okay. It's about us again. Okay. Oh, I love you, Ricky. And Monty says, hoe means people generally back in the day got paid for it, but tramps on the other end don't get paid. So I think they mislabeled the term of hoe. I'm just saying. And Anais, how you doing? He says, peace, family. Peace unto you as well. And Sunlight says 304 culture is celebrated in the DR, right? And you also say, yet people want to comment on ridiculous questions about Black Americans. Nah. And J. Joe, you say, no, it wasn't. You couldn't be a big 304 back then without either dying or getting someone. The sexual revolution was what gave birth to this mess. We are dealing with it. Okay. And Mona says there's definitely a 403, but even 304, I think. Culture, no doubt. This is the millennials. Let's be clear. If you take the women that were born in the 1960s, 70s, not as much any longer, not just because of age, just in growth. And
okay, but wait a minute, Moni. You know, hoism and Negroism goes back 3 generations. So in your statement right there, you just said not anymore. If they were, they were. I mean, if that's where it originated and they were doing it back then, they're still doing it today. So, you know, I'm just saying and fellas, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Did you guys notice how, and I'm not trying to jump on Moni, but you see this in a lot of women. They try to dismiss the things away with that thinking that we're not going to pick up on it. If you were a 304 in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and you're still doing the 304 stuff, or you taught it to your daughters or whatever, your sons, it's still going on.
And J. Joe, you say, bruh, only simps isn't even seen as prostitution by a lot of people. And let's see, TGH, Leo son, how you doing? He says, there would be no 304 culture supply if there wasn't a 304 culture demand. Well, I'm just going to keep reading.
Well, again, who are we to stop what has been going on since the beginning of time? I don't care what religion you are. You go into your little Bible or whatever you call it, and you're going to find 304s all throughout the Bible. And I don't care if y'all get mad. Ain't nothing but 304s up in the churches.
Fight for Black. He says, all right, King Donovan. And McGarrett, how you doing? He says, hello, my family. Yes, indeed. And Sunlight says, where's Demetra Jr. and Olivia, damn it? I know, right? My daughter actually just took off. So otherwise she'd be up in here eating Donovan's lunch.
Yes, it's a social construct.
And McGarrett, no. That's all right. And Donovan says, welcome to the Demetra Kaye Show. Yes, indeed. Y'all please give it a thumbs up if you will. And Thunder says, get an older woman. She is looking for companionship and is already established, and she is not out for your bag. She just wants you and your time, and you would know all about it, wouldn't you? And McGarrett says, Ted Cruz sucks my pearl tongue if I had one. Oh, what did Ted Cruz do today? Wilbur, how you doing? The morning says the problem has come down, and Donovan, is that Caucasians have taken over the mainstream media and narrative, making women feel that it's okay. When you look at the 1950s, that was considered garbage. Anita, how you doing? And Candor, you say you're right. And Morning says prime example from the 1920s to the 1979, women that had children and wasn't married was deemed an as interceptable as they were called in some classes, tramps. Let's be clear. Once the 80s came, sleeping around. And J. Joe, you say now the women from the 1940s or during the time of Mary McLeod Bethune or when the church have now it's been forced onto the children. That's where I draw the line. So you have to be your own person. Okay. Oh gosh, where do we go from here? I mean, it's just so much that's been said. So we know that 304 behavior has been around since the beginning of time, and it is nothing new. But I really want to just ask the first question: who is to blame for it? Now, I know we kind of have this high key, if you will, gender war thing going on between Black men and women, which is very unfortunate and highly ridiculous. But who is to blame for that? Like, we're like, if you think that it goes back all the way through the beginning of time in every scenario, culture, whatever, there has been some of that behavior going on. But no, let me back it up. So is it worse, or is it worse now, or is it about the same, or are we seeing more of it because we have this thing called social media?
I got an answer for you. And this is my opinion. I believe it's gotten worse. And here's why. For the last 60 years, since the civil rights movement, the only people that has benefited from the civil rights movement are the people that fought it. So for all you baby boomers out there, congratulations. You guys got in the streets and you guys fought, and you guys are reaping the benefits of what you fought for. Fast forward 60 years. The Black people community's economic situation is getting worse and worse and worse. So what you have now is called survival sex for a lot of these young ladies. You know what I mean? Because the father's not in the home.
But it's survival sex in your terms. Is that new?
No, it's not new. But what I'm saying is because of the economic situation has gotten worse. And that's what it comes down to. Without reparations, we're not getting what we need to be a successful community in the United States. They just flew over almost 300,000 Afghan traders into the United States and set them up so that they have everything they need to be successful. We don't have that. We have Black men going to jail at disproportionate rates, but yet, and me and you were talking about this the other day, I'm sick and tired of people always talking about, oh, we need time. I marched with Martin Luther King. Oh, we got so-and-so. We need to get more Democrats in office. You have Black people in every aspect of position in mayors in major cities and even lower cities. You've got Black police officers in major cities and minor cities. You've got representatives. You've got all of the things that we should need. Right now, there's only a 13 vote difference in control of the House. How many members of the Black caucus are there? 58 members. But yet 2 Asian senators told Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, you don't do what we need you to do to make us a protected class, none of your agenda is going to get through. Guess what? They've got a bill. So what I'm saying is the economics of it, we are in dire straits. And because of that, economically, employability wise, unless you want to be a service worker for the rest of your life, because Demetra, we talked about this. A lot of people say we're on our way to being a permanent underclass. I think we're already there.
Okay, you said a lot, brother. All right, let me get to the rest of these comments. All right, so Easy, how you doing? Says, hello, D, Donovan, and friends. And Leo Sun says 304 has been around forever. The difference now is that you have birth control and no more shotgun weddings. Yeah, they need to bring those shotgun weddings back, I think. And JR, I call you JR, how about that? You say, so from a cultural anthropologist perspective, 304 is redefined cultural construct of the so-called world's oldest profession. Yeah, and so I don't know if you were talking about what Donovan said as far as my daughter, she always likes to throw that word social construct around. But to your point, I mean, it is so they say, right? The world's oldest profession is not new. People have been doing sex work, if you will, for money forever. Money says, don't take it personally, Donovan. You know, you want somebody to take you up and rock your son up, or rock you son up to sundown and have you hollering, come on over to Michigan so I can keep you warm in the snow. Ooh.
I've been looking for tickets.
Thunder says it's gotten so confusing now that anything decent is considered boring or old, but the taboo is normalized. Good point.
Right. And real quick, Demetra, could you do us a favor and kind of slide to the left or the right so we can see?
No. Oh, by the way, my background is that of Freaknik. I wanted to find the picture. Right. And it's not just the girl who is, I mean, it's not terrible what she's doing. You know, she's got some little bitty shorts on. But I picked this picture specifically because there's men around it, you know, egging it on, if you will. So that kind of, to me, fit the narrative of who is to blame.
Right. And since we're talking about Freaknik, we got a lot of young people on here. Kind of explain why they shut Freaknik down, and you know, give us a background on it.
Well, I've never been, but I know people who have. But from what I understand, it got really out of control, and there was a lot of assault, if you will, going on there, and it turned into something other than a good time. So I know they've tried to revamp it over the years. I think even recently as last year, but it hasn't really been what it was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, it basically turned into something of young black people getting together, college students getting together, to hedonism, to where once it gets the hedonism into it, then the drug culture comes into it, then all the other negativity that came with it. And once again, just like in the metro here in California, we have a good thing, and a small part of our population ruins it for everybody.
Yes, indeed, brother. So I'm gonna get to these comments so I can catch up. And J. Joe, you say Moni, also you're talking to Moni. And Gilberto says, in my opinion, it's worse, and social media is to blame. Okay, and McGarrett says, let's talk about that lying ass VP saying they were gonna change the law about weed amount when she was running for office. Well, you know, tell that to the people who voted for against better, you know, good advice that people were trying to give, right? And Ricky says, Black people need to stop throwing the word culture behind every despicable, dysfunctional way of behaving in attempts to make it right. We already got to listen to shitty hip hop during a very depressing time in our history. We got to do better. I totally agree with you on that. My daughter and my niece were having a heated discussion about the word culture, if you will. And she kind of was saying, my daughter was saying the same thing. I mean, it's like we put culture with everything, and a lot of times it doesn't apply. But I think a lot of times Black people use the word culture to put ownership on it. Like, that's Black culture. But if you really ask anybody what Black culture is, it's like, it's Lowry's own chicken. It's like, well, is that really Black culture?
and then why is Black culture in politics always about the criminal justice system? Why is that considered the Black culture in politics?
And Kiki, how you doing? Long time no see. And Anita says, yes, it's been around forever, but the issue is that it is more rewarded and celebrated than a woman who is not for the streets. Very good point. And Jay Joe said there are no more shotgun weddings because women stopped caring about marriage and long-term relationships. That's what's new. The baby boomers didn't care about marriage and just wanted to be 304 as well. I would say this. I don't know if, see, I'm kind of really trying to hold my opinion. I'm going to hold my opinion. And I'm just
I'm going to speak for the baby boomers, J. Joe. Y'all young people have no respect.
I'm gonna hold my comments. I just want to give you guys a chance to kind of just, you know, give you comments. And Leo says, we're seeing more thanks to technology, but I don't think it's getting worse. When I was in high school age ago, teen pregnancy was rare, hidden and shunned, is susceptible now. I would agree with you on that. And I graduated in 1989. And
wait a minute, you told me you graduated in 2009.
I did.
Okay, gotcha.
Givetta says, through social media, the 304 culture is being rewarded and celebrated, and young ladies think this is what they need to do.
But are they being rewarded in the end? In the end, are they being rewarded? Think about that.
And I won't read the replies that you guys are doing to each other. I'll just read the original comments. And McGarrett says, Black people is too damn full of entitlement. Tell these colonizers what we want and stop voting for these worthless career politicians. So let me ask y'all this. Are we trying to connect the politics with 304 culture? I'm just asking. And And J. Joe says,
Hoeing is hoeing.
And Thunder says, did you hear that they are able to grow babies in an artificial womb to full term, and you no longer need a woman or a man to start a family? So no more baby mama drama and no more custody battles. Well, I'm imagining whoever is growing the baby and take ownership of it, perhaps there could be a custody battle there. And Gavetta, you say, Demetra, it has been around a long time. However, most things were kept behind closed doors. And Easy says social media definitely added fuel to the fire. 304 also perpetuated and elevated in music culture. And I'm gonna get to these. Donovan, you can throw your comment in there. And Kubler, how you doing? He says, I was raised during the Uncle Luke era. Yes, I listen to Uncle Luke sometimes when I'm working out. Anyway, says 304 has always been around, but at least we had the Felicia Rashad type to balance out the foolishness. Who is the alternative for this generation? Good question. And Jay Joy says, are we really going to pretend that Studio 54 wasn't a thing back in the 70s? Our grandparents were Instagram thoughts, but lied and pretended that they were not promiscuous. Very good point. Thunder says, interesting fact, the oldest profession is prostitution. The second oldest profession is being a mercenary. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, well, how you doing? It says 304 culture came from Eve in the garden. All right. And you also say shalom, Sister K and Brother Donovan, word up. Well, same to you. And Leo Sun says, I'm not accepting negative aspects of the Black community and culture. I saw Alvin Ailey Dance Theater last night. That's our culture, in my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? And you say, and culture as culture, couture. I know I said that wrong. Forgive me. And Jay Joy says, y'all about to stop pretending like people in the 1910s were just throwing their jaws around, laugh out loud. They were serious consequences for doing that. First of all, you get clowned by everyone. And McGarrett says, okay, class of 89. Yeah. Hey, Brother Todd, how you doing? He says, peace to Demetra. Brother Donovan, Demetra, today you look just like that flawless image. Donovan has posted up behind him, wonderful eyes, flawless skin, fabulous lips, and a look of determination in your eyes. I was looking for a screensaver, and now I think I found it. Oh, you are so sweet.
Oh, we can get to those comments, huh?
Right, quick, fast, in a hurry, brother. But thank you so much for that. And Maureen says, this is a good time, Demetra, if the pioneer could be on. Where is that brother? You say it comes down.
Let's keep Olivia off. Block Olivia.
No, we need Olivia for you, okay? It says it comes down to this. Every human being live differently, different types of lives. Some of these people are very unappreciative of just uncivilized and taking it. And Thunder says, at least back in the day, there was a red light district and brothel. So yeah, and I think we really need to talk about that. I mean, this is not new. It's been around forever. And Jay Joe, I think it's you that's really bringing us some historical context to this conversation. And you're absolutely right. It's been around forever. But let me see, because I want to credit you guys with the right comments. Leo Son, I think it was you that said, really the difference is social media and whoever else said it, I think it was Thunder. There was shame back then, right? I mean, like I said, I'm class of 89. That's, a while ago. But there was still some shame. And you guys who are old enough to remember, maybe Donovan and I's age. Donovan's a little bit older than me by like 20 years. But for you guys old enough to remember, the loose girl, she was rare. And like
popular, the popular girl.
The popular girl, but she was rare, right? Everybody knew who that girl was, right? But now it's just like, almost like, well, who is the girl that's like, sucker, But, and I'm not saying that's a lot of women, but back then it was really kind of rare, like, and as you said, it was some shame in that. And people didn't talk all under their clothes. And, there wasn't social media. Now, of course, if you go to some of your grandparents' Polaroids and your mom and daddy's Polaroids.
Daddy on the Cadillac looking like a pimp. Mama got the tube top on with the Afro puff looking like she's a Soul Train dancer. So, I mean, come on now.
Looking like an Ice-T album cover.
Right. I mean, I have to call out a lot of these baby boomers because they're so hypocritical. Because let me tell you something. Respect is earned. It isn't automatically given, or it shouldn't be automatically given. These baby boomers, knowing that they're out there trying to compete with their kids and their daughters and their granddaughters, their day is over. They're still trying to, hold on to it. And now they want you to respect them when they didn't leave you any legacy whatsoever. y'all need to respect us and it's like that. Do you guys realize, how many of you guys remember Teddy Pendergrass? How many of you guys remember Teddy Pendergrass? Exactly. Now, did he not have women's only concerts? And what was grandmama and them doing at them concerts? Throwing them big old bloomers up on the damn stage.
Yes. But I would also argue, even with that, there was a time and a place for that. But now we're seeing it everywhere, okay? And again, when I say it, I'm not really just talking about the women. I'm also talking about the men too, because I believe that that is attributed to men as well. And as somebody else said beautifully, there would not be 304 culture probably wouldn't be as prevalent if there wasn't a demand for it. Because we hear a lot of men, especially talk about women. Oh, that's a 304, 304, 304. And it's like, but y'all not talking about the men that's, egging that on. That's maybe on OnlyFans or sending $40 or whatever it is you're doing. We're not having both sides of the conversation. And so I agree. If there wasn't a demand for it, then it might fizzle out. So I don't know. Y'all tell me, but let me get to the rest of these comments. And let's see here. And then Thunder, to your point, yeah, I mean, a time and a place when you brought up the red light district and the brothels, you have to like really go seek that out. But if you're
still in Europe and a lot of Asian countries, they have red light districts and brothels because they know there's a demand for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever go to Vegas and you've been within the last couple of years, shoot, I mean, you can see quite a bit just on the strip, right? And so let's see here. Mona says, Demetra, please bring. I'll bring back the red lipstick one day. And you also say, Donovan, have you ever seen an Oriental cat with the big, huge ears? I think that would be a cute cat for you. A lot better than your standard house cat and more expensive. Try it.
Yes, way more expensive. Yes, I've seen those. Yeah.
And Gilberto says, Donovan, no, in the end is not working out. We see it every day through these different celebrities. And J. Joe, you say you could have to be a husband. I think you had to be a husband. It had to be husband material to actually have access to a woman. And you had to meet their parents and family before the 60s. Grandparents were thotting it up to the Temptations, right? But again, can we argue that there was a time and a place? And the other thing too is this. Now, maybe social media is a factor, but if your grandmama, your granddaddy was a 304, did you know about it?
Of course they did.
I said, but did you know about it?
Of course the grandkids knew about it. Grandma was going down to the American Legion to go kick it. You ever see that one where the funeral where they got grandma propped up even though she's dead and she's still like at the table with her drink and everything? And
but was you at the American Legion? Was you at the juke joint with her?
In our generation, no, because we didn't do that. If my mom was there, I left. One of us is going to be leaving.
I'm saying, more than not, you didn't see your parents or you didn't know your grandma or grandfather, whatever, was out there thotting if that's what they were doing.
But fast forward to the modern age, you got parents smoking weed with their children.
But that's what I'm saying. So that I'm asking, is that the difference? Have standards and decency, if you will, change? And Kendra says there's no more shame. They're proud to be 304s. Yeah, and I really agree with that. That the shame factor is like, now I'm sexually liberated. It's like,
well, okay. I have to agree with the shame factor because you got guys that are having babies with the popular girl in the neighborhood, and they don't care. It's like, you didn't want to get caught up. I mean, it's okay to have fun with the popular girl, but you didn't want to impregnate her,
And somehow somebody did. And McGarrett says the girl back then said that all all that are the ones got the most kids, right? And Martin says what I meant by that, Donovan, is women in the 50s and 60s, 70s could be if they wore a skirt that would be considered whorish, if you will. If they wore red lipstick, they would be considered holy. I think you meant whole like holy. Let's be clear. Now, yeah. And my mom, she told me that because my mom had, fairly big lips, if you will. And she would wear red lipstick. And she said her mom was like, you ain't supposed to be wearing red lipstick because your lips big. And, red lipstick and nail polish was considered kind of sort of that of the women of the night type of stuff, if you will. And Khalifa, how you doing? It says they gave another person the money that had to Pastor Pork Chop and No Will and Easy. And how you doing, by the way, if I didn't say hello already. And Easy says it's a pandemic. Oh, so you're saying it's so bad that it's a pandemic? McGarrett says grandma throwing a period draws on stage. Teddy Pendergrass said, ew. And
true story. Wait. How many of you guys, when Teddy got in that crash, now come on, Demetra, you know what I'm talking about. When Teddy got in that crash that paralyzed him, my mama was bawling on the ground as if she knew the man.
You know what? My story about Teddy Pendergrass getting in a car accident was, okay, y'all know I got a Muslim daddy, right? My daddy is FOI till he died. And I remember when it happened, I was, with my dad and my siblings in the car. And it must have came on the radio or something. And my dad gave us a whole history lesson of what went down. And that's kind of how I learned of what I'm trying to use the politically correct term of a cross-dresser. I don't know if that's right. So that's how I learned what a cross-dresser was. And I couldn't have been no more than like 7 or 8. But he broke it down and he was not happy that Teddy was caught in that situation. So that's how I heard about the whole situation. All right. And so Thunder says, and if you don't partake in these activities, they'll say you must be up to something or you are doing something nefarious. How about being modest? Yeah, that's the modest girl is almost like the square man, if you will. If a man doesn't have swag and he doesn't look this way, that way, he's a square. But if a woman is saying, well, I prefer to wear a slip or cover up this, that, and the other, it's like, oh, live a little.
But that goes back to the Ginger or Marianne argument. Most guys would have picked Marianne.
I've heard that argument a lot. And Marty says, see, a lot of times people are broadcasting more when they didn't have to broadcast. If you was about your paper, hook or crook, you kept that to yourself. What? No Instagram, YouTube, Facebook promoting nonsense. I agree with you. Leo Son says, before Teddy Pendergrass, there were blues songs, lots of coded and explicit language like the song Meet Me With Your Black Draws On. Yeah, but like you said, it was coded, right? But I don't know about that. Exactly, but a lot of music back then was pretty coded and you really had to be listening to say, oh. That's what they talking about, because especially when we was kids, our parents would listen to that, but we was just thinking it was a good song. But we didn't know what they were talking about per se. Marty says, now you got men, Donovan, that love the judge and put this on Black women, but you don't say the same for the standard Becky or Selena that many of them copy. Let's be clear.
Okay. Wait, Moni. Okay, now here's another thing we got to stop doing as Black people. I don't have time to worry about what Becky's doing. We already know what Becky's doing. I don't care about Selena because we know what she's doing. I'm worried about what my people are doing. And that's what we got to start doing. We got to worry about taking care of our own before we worry about anybody else.
Absolutely. And Ricky says Black culture is addiction, anti-progression, violence, abuse, fake envy, cowardice, abandonment, fear, backstabbing, and a whole lie. Culture rises beautifully with time. I don't see anything about this so-called Black culture, quote unquote, that with time that is going to be more positively impressive in the next 20 to 50 years. It's a hard pass for me. Yeah, that's why I love Ricky, because Ricky know how, he says what he needs to say, but I absolutely agree with you on that. A lot of times when I hear people use the term Black culture, it's like, well, do we really want to claim that as Black culture for whatever it is you're trying to say Black culture is? Are we really trying to claim that? But to your point, you named a lot of things that not all, but a lot we see, that is starting to look like Black culture. And Khalifa says the boomers had the ability to use threads of violence. I think you meant threats of I meant to say threats of violence to stay out their private business, right? And you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because parents made it a point to tell kids. I remember one time I was walking through the living room. My mom was talking to her homegirl, and they were sitting down. I don't know, I was like 6 or 7 or so.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I was walking through the living room, and I was walking a little too slow. Maybe I was ear hustling, I don't know. And she says, girl, you better get on and get out my mouth. Now, when I was younger, I'm like, what does that mean? Get out. Like, I'm not in your mouth, Mom. But as I got older, I was like, oh, okay, she meant get out my business. Keep it pushing, little girl. And so you're absolutely right. And NIE says, me and my dad don't smoke together. I know that's right. And Leo son says, how old is Clarence Carter song Stroking? Right. It's probably older than me. Shit.
Yeah, right. That's in the 70s there.
Okay, so maybe not quite as old as me then. And Yahweh says 304s are yuck. I need a humble woman. I know that's right. And Martin says again, prostitute is the correct term. I have no problem with that because that's what the Bible speak on. The Bible never called them hoes. That's more of a modern 1940s BS. Call it like it is. Yeah, they were called something else. And Jay Jody says we know about it because of our grandparents were single parents, and most of our grandmothers didn't even have husbands, and we don't even know who our grandfathers were. But I mean,
J. Joe, how old are you? Because I'm just asking because me being as 20 years older than Demetra, my parents were married, my grandparents were married, and so on, so forth. So I just have to ask.
That's an excellent catch, Donovan, because I was actually thinking the same thing. Because I wasn't thinking how old he was, but I was more or less thinking that, well, I didn't see that from my grandparents type of thing. You know what I mean? So it might be an age difference. And Gilbert says standards have changed as parents want to be their kids' friends. I'm class of 88. And back in the day, my mother stated, I'm not your friend, I'm your mother. Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff we was hearing back in the day. Not today. And Mona says, Donovan, if you feel that it's mostly all 403s in the church that speaks against our way of culture, I don't agree with that. Not everybody wants to be a whole. Let's be clear. You finna set it on fire.
Well, let me ask you this. Like I said, whenever we talk about it, we know what we're talking. We're not talking all inclusive. When people say that criminality is the Black culture, no, that's not all of us. When they say the Black culture is failing, no, that's not all of us. When they say we're on welfare, that's not all of us. So we don't talk in absolutes here. You guys happen to know. Now, I was raised a Catholic, but my father and my dad's side of the family, they're all Methodists. Nobody's going to the churches anymore. Why? Because when we were coming up, Demetra, it didn't matter what your religion was. You going to church on Sunday with mama and them. She didn't care what your religion was. Now, let's face it now. You've got these pastors in the churches that are taking the finances, sleeping with the women, and all this other stuff. And show me in the Black community. I have yet to run across it. I've seen a few, but I really have yet to come across it. Demetra's old pastor, he was an upstanding guy. But I have yet to really run across it. Why is it that when you go to most Black churches, the pastor was either an ex-pimp, an ex-drug dealer, or an ex-criminal? Yes, that's a great testimony to have to say, the Lord changed me around and stuff like that. But where is the testimony of I was a millionaire and the Lord called me and I gave it up? Or I was, doing missionary work or whatever. Where's the other side of that? That's my question.
Well, they are doing missionary work.
Yeah, literally.
And Don, you say Donovan, back when I was a womanizing man, oh, damn. I would run the reverse 304 psychology, work like a charm. And I know exactly what you're saying, too. Oh, no, that's not going to make you a 304. I respect you in the morning.
Exactly. I'll call you tomorrow. What's your beeper number?
Exactly. And he says, I only wear skirts and dresses. I let my modesty glow. I know that's right.
And you know what, Anise, by doing that, a lot of people get it messed up, especially our young folks. They think that the beautiful sex organ is what's between their legs. That is not true. It's what's in your mind. Because when I look at some women and I look at you guys, the way you're dressed a certain way, even if you're dressed modestly, men, and this is men, we're visual. We undress you with our mind and our eyes, and we say, whoa, I know that's a banger. Underneath it or whatever's going on. So yeah, when you dress modestly, to me, you're more attractive because I'm wondering, okay, let me see, because I'm watching you walk and stuff. I'm trying to figure out that shape and see what's going on.
You heard them, ladies. Start putting on burlap sacks. They want us to wear burlap sacks from the neck all the way to the feet.
Hey, you guys believe this? I brought Demetra a burqa and she refuses to wear
it. Right. And McGarrett, you say the whole Black community was in mourning. And Yahweh says, I love full, beautiful lips. That is yum, yum, yeah. And Brother Reggie, how you doing? He says, have to Google 304. Yeah, because and I'm sure you probably maybe you seen it on YouTube a lot. And you also say greetings, global Black family.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you know, Reggie, it's funny because I kept hearing that on YouTube, 304, and I'm like, what the hell is that? That's how old we are. I had to contact my niece. I said, have you heard of the term 304? And she broke it down. I was like, oh yeah, I remember now.
Right. Brother Jonell, how you doing? He says, peace, queen. Brother Donovan and fam. And Thunder says, she said slip. Oh, man, it probably turned you on, huh? And Jay Joe says, women are modest today and elegant. They are seen as losers by other women. Yeah, like, look at her. You know, I mean, I'm 50. And I say for the most part, I know I keep lying, huh? I'm 40, 30. I say for the most part, I dress modestly, right? But sometimes I might show a little bit of skin, a little bit, not much, you know, because, you know, I am
If you guys ever go to the beach with Demetra, she will wear the burqa.
I'm one of those people, I'm just weird about that kind of stuff. I feel like if I'm on the beach, I'm in my underwear. And it's like, I'm going to just go in some shorts and just hang out, okay? Not literally hang out, but just chill.
Demetra makes a good lifeguard or watch guard. Yes. So if you go in the water, she's scanning like Mama Bear. She's scanning.
Mm-hmm. And Anna says the blues will have you caught up. McGarrett says Ginger reminded me of Trump's wife's flat ass and built straight up 6 o'clock. Talking about Jennifer Gilligan's Island. And Sunlight says modest women are not valued. Man.
But you know, but Sunlight, but it's not valued by who? I mean, I know what you mean. Like a lot of men don't value that because they want these BBLs and all this other stuff. But if you, I agree. Okay, they aren't valued.
I mean, come on, brother. Yeah. Don't try to clean that up because
what I'm saying is, you know, the guys that are into these BBLs and that thought culture.
Well, it's not even about the BBLs. When we say modest, it's talking about a woman with some clothes on for the most part. But what eyes showing.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, it's unfortunate we have a majority of young men running around that don't value the modest culture. I mean, like I said, I don't mind modesty at all. Okay. I mean, we're out there.
Stan, how you doing? He says, right, the whataboutisms is bullish. So you're talking about what Donovan was saying, and when somebody said, what about the white woman and the Hispanic woman? And Sunlight says, if that's the case, Donovan, then why are other races with 304 cultures questioning you about Black people? Hold that thought. And Mona says, this is more worse because back in the day, they didn't advertise on social media. They were discreet. If you sold your body, it was in discretion. Wasn't on no back page in other newspapers, etc. And Thunder says, and if you spoke French, that song Lady Marmalade, we were singing that hook and never knew what it meant. You ain't lying, brother, because we were singing a mess out of that. And then when we got older, it was like, ow. Okay. J. Joe says, listen to the lyrics from the song, Not Just Knee Deep by Parliament. That's what our grandmothers were listening to. So your grandmother, you're probably a lot younger than Donovan and I, because when you say your grandmothers, that would be our parents that was listening to that. So, and Sunlight says, maybe you should tell your non-Black friends to take care of their own.
But Sunlight, okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I do tell my other friends to take care of their own. So I'm not sure where you're going with that.
And Thunder says, stay out of grown folks' business. Smack. Right. And Al, how you doing?
Smack. You mean the flying shoe from the other room.
Okay. And Al, you crazy. He says, I heard my mom tell her friend, I ain't gonna repeat it, but it was pretty gross. But you didn't hear, your mama didn't know you were there in earshot in that conversation. She was talking to a good girlfriend on the phone, and you just happened to be walking by and heard something that you'll never forget all these years later. And Stan says, just because the role of the 304 exists, don't mean you have to fill that role. That is very true.
Right. When you talk about mom was on the phone, did she have that like 30-foot extension cord?
Okay.
You know, she got the cord and she's walking through the house, dusting when it's done.
And Gilberto says, example, I have friends over 50 that smoke cigarettes, and even though their parents know they smoke, they have the respect not to smoke in front of their parents. Yes, that's old school right there, or curse for that matter. And Jay Joey says, Moni, so you're talking to Moni, and you say, I'm 28. I knew it. So you young enough to be my child.
My older, I have a son older than you. Yeah, I have a son older than you.
Yeah, if I was active when I was 10, of course. Yeah, my child is older than you. So that makes sense. And Easy says, D, I knew we had a lot in common, both 70s children and class of 89. Yeah, the best. And Mona says, but at the same time, Donovan, while you say that we may be a permanent underclass, what would they do if we were not here? It's if a good 75% of blacks exist, believe me, it would bring this country down. Let me get to these comments really quick so you can answer that, because that was behind. Right. And Kubler says 304s are freaking on each other. He said 304s are freaking each other on the LGBT. Kick the men out the club. These poor dentists are working overtime trying to keep up with this movement.
You ain't lying. You are not lying. God. All this money these women are getting on the OnlyFans and they can't get their damn teeth fixed.
Easy says there's a lot of 304s in church. Most come off the pole to get the purge on Sunday. Y'all wilding. And Jay Joey says if your grandmother is in her 80s or above, you're more likely know who your grandmother is from before the boomers. But if your grandmother is from Generation X, then you may not know Papa. So yes, you're absolutely right. Enrique says you might have to pass the baby boomers by. You hit one of them, they might not even come from it. He said, I walked in my mama's house one night and my little brother had his father in a headlock about to suplex his ass on the dining room table. I had to drop all the groceries to run over there and unlock his damn neck. When I got him to explain why, he said he caught him stealing his damn weed. Well, damn. My God. And Allie says, why are so many gay black men, but you won't see that in the Hispanic community?
Yeah, so the Latin community has machismo.
Well, it does exist in the community, but I think we can maybe agree that we don't see it promoted as much as it is in our community, right? Everywhere you look, it's like, bam, there it is. And Kubler, you say, Donovan, which decade had the best, oh my God, 304s?
The 90s.
And Sunlight says, again, nothing to do with what's in her mind. And Jay Joey says, if your grandmother is before the baby boomers, then you know who your grandfather is. I know what you meant. And Jay Allison, how are you? Said, what is a 304? So if you flip it upside down, it spells hoe. So, and that's kind of the term that we're using on a YouTube, because, I don't think you can say hoe and get away with it. And Mona says, Demetra, I would love to speak on the story I sent you. Okay, so I have to check it out because I haven't seen it just yet. But you say I sent it where the young lady wasted. She was pregnant. The officer. Yeah, everybody. Actually, a few people have sent me that story. Is it new? Because I know there was a story like that out before. I had to check it out. I've been really busy, but I will. Al says, T, Demetra may have a theme song in the works. Okay, yeah. and actually like that song. And Kiki says, oh, Donovan, about the women flooding his inbox on that statement. The mind is the most beautiful thing, quote unquote. It's true, though. It should be. Yeah, but y'all men don't like a woman for her mind. You like her for her behind. Then keep it real.
Well, yeah, I've been after your sister for 30 years. She's got a beautiful mind and a beautiful bate.
Ricky says, you're not weird, D. You're respectable. And Thunder says, I like something to imagine. I like something to the imagination, but if I can't see everything but the short and curly, well, there's no prize to unwrap. It's on display, and that is no excitement for me. So you're saying, I want to imagine what's under, your clothes, opposed to just seeing it all out on display, right? And I guess that's kind of maybe the thing for some men, and I would say probably a lot of older men are that way. I don't know. Y'all tell me. And Jay Joey says, women today are wearing thongs to the beach modestly. Has been all but extinct, unfortunately. And McGarrett says, Sister Demetra, everybody ain't wife material like you, sis. Well, I appreciate that. And the goal is to try to teach our girls and some of our women to become that. But I think, unfortunately, McGarrett, the problem with trying to teach those skills nowadays to young girls is it gets misconstrued as, oh, well, that's some gender stuff. I don't think we should assign gender roles to this, that, the other. And it's like, well, I'm old school. So I think there's some things that women should still do and men should still do. And of course, they both can learn how to do those things, but I just think we have too much of a gender war going on, and it's blurring the lines, and people are just losing their minds. It's like, just get a good man or woman, settle down with them, y'all figure out what each other likes, and then go with that, opposed to trying to say, well, I know I'm a woman, but I want to act like a man, or vice versa.
Who are these people who have the right to go against what God set in stone for thousands of years? That's my question.
I'm gonna let them answer that. And Yahweh says, Sister K, you are a treasure, lovely, beloved lady. I appreciate y'all making me feel good. I appreciate that. And then it says, how come Gertrude and Agnes don't need I can't stand you. You said, how come Gertrude and Agnes don't need BBLs even at their age? Some of them still got that bubble. Yeah, but Gertrude and Agnes was like, shit, Gravity didn't got a hold of me, but you can still go to the gym and do certain things. And I think Gertrude and Agnes realized, I don't even know if I was perfect when I was 15 or 20, but time happens, and you want to get with a man who was mature enough to say, listen, baby, I know you had a rocking body back then, and to me, you still got a rocking body. Yeah, it ain't 15, 18, 20, 30, but it's you. Like, let's evolve and start talking about some other things other than how you look, right?
Well, Demetra, back in high school, you were a little thicker than you are now. I mean, you're fairly smaller than you were in your.
Well, in high school, I had more muscles because I was very athletic. I'm more thicker now than in high school. I be in the gym though, trying to put on some muscles and not lose, because I'm the type of person.
You can't lose those drumsticks though.
If I do too much cardio, then yeah, I get really small. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to keep what I got, but trade the fat for the muscle, if you will. And Easy says, you can be modest and still sexy. You don't have to show skin to be sexy. And I agree with that. Sexy to me, it should be an attitude more than anything.
Exactly. How do you think I've been so damn successful? My money. It's not what I wear. It's the money.
I ain't said a word, brother. Maybe my eyes did, but I didn't. And Marty says, Demetra, the Freaknik used to be fun as hell in the 90s. Women could make decent money. Wow. Decent money if they already were exotic dancers and didn't have to sleep with these men. Different changed times. Okay. And Leo Son says, I was taught to pick one feature to accentuate if it's short, then it can't be tight. If it shows your legs, then you can't show your breasts too. These days seem to be gone. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, if you had a nice, I'm gonna say rack. I know that's probably derogatory.
Bumper. You got bumpers in the front. You got bumpers in the back.
You might want to accentuate it. I mean, you have to let them all hang out, but you might want to wear a top that's kind of modest, but you can show what you got going on. But yeah, nowadays it's like 2 cotton balls and a Band-Aid, and that's an outfit. And they going to church. And McGarrett says house phone with 300-foot cord. Okay.
And mama could walk all the way through the house to the front door, out the back door.
Exactly. And the morning says, don't forget you have the oppressive class that is promoting sexual promiscuity, immorality, putting it on the children as early as 2 years of age. That's the difference back in the day.
But let me ask you that though, regardless of what the media is showing you, who should be the example to what your kids should be following?
Exactly. And Al says, my mom was talking and said, if he don't bring home the Friday check, he won't get any. And I think a lot of that was probably the unsaid thing in a lot of households. But the question is, was that wrong? Was that wrong for the missus of the house to say, if you don't bring the money in, then it's getting clacked?
Not necessarily, because again, I don't care what any of you ladies say, women control access to sex. Men control relationships if there's going to be a relationship. Period.
And Evro, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says laugh out loud. And I for whatever reason, I'm pixelating. I don't know why. Let me see. I got all my.
You are not pixelating. Keep going.
I probably am a little bit because I see my.
No, you're not.
Okay, cool. But you can hear me though. All right. So and Charlie, long time no see. He says, hello, D&D, Demetra. You are rocking your hairstyle. Love how you rock. You're cool too, Donovan. Yeah, he all right. But thank you.
Yeah, I love when Demetra wears her Frederick Douglass style. It's beautiful.
Shut up, fool.
Beautiful.
And let's see here. Yahweh says, Brother Donovan, keep it coming, brother. Word up. And Don says, that's correct, Demetra. In the Latino culture, Academy membership is hidden because you can get killed for it.
Yeah. The Yeah, the machismo is strong in the Latin culture. I'm not saying they don't have gay people. It isn't promoted. I mean, you really literally can get killed.
Mm-hmm. And Al says at the Pro Bowl today, the Air Force flew over. What's the name of the Air Force base in Vegas, Donovan?
That is Nellis Air Force Base.
Cool. And Brother Jonell says majority used to be modest, but since the age of media, other key factors such as toxics, new design clothes, etc., 304 culture bloom, and even the new age grandmas was for the streets. So a degenerative society only produces an animal-minded people, and the self-destructive society, America, is truly the modern whore of Babylon, and moral and decently is opposed. And so you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, a lot of grandmas out there like you the grandmama, you the mama. Like
what do they call themselves? I'm the glam mom. I'm a glam mom. You know, it's like, come on, really? You had your day. Stop competing with these younger girls.
Okay, listen. I'm not a grandma yet. I don't want to be called grandma. I don't call me granny. I don't want to be called that. I told my daughter, when you have children, if she has children, they can call me Grandy. You know, like Grandy.
Yeah, but it's still a derivative and a respectful term. Because
grandma, I would not answer to that.
Yeah, because I think it's ridiculous when kids are calling their parents by their government names. That's to me, that's very disrespectful.
I've had this conversation a lot. And you know, Al, he's from the South, and I'm not. But my parents have Southern roots, and I never call my grandparents grandma or grandpa. My grandfather called them pops. But I never call my grandparents by grandma or grandpa. I always call them by their names. And some people are like, what? You call your grandparents their names? Because my parents, for whatever reason, I don't know, called their parents by their first name. And so that wasn't
individually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I mean, even my first cousins, we called my grandma Katie. Mm-hmm. That was her name. So
right, Katie girl. I get it.
Yeah,
and real quick, I know we got a lot of comments to go, but you need to tell people, why are we talking about 304 culture? How many of you guys remember the movie House Party? Okay. Recently, and Demetra's going to kind of elaborate on it a little bit, but remember the girl in House Party that was dancing with Tisha Campbell, the lovely dark chocolate AJ Johnson. She interviewed on Vlad TV or whatever it was, and Demetra will take it from here.
So Donovan and I got to talking about this earlier, which is why we're talking about the 304 culture. So AJ Johnson, as you guys know, as he said, most famously was on House Party and Baby Boy and just a bunch of movies. She's was that actress in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she was in a lot of movies, and now I think she's more like a personal trainer, and I think she has a show on OWN or something like that, talking about wellness and things like that.
Life coach.
She's
a life coach.
Yeah. So she did an interview with Vlad. You guys know what Vlad is. And somehow she brought up, she's 57 now, but she talked about when she was 50 for a birthday present, she gave herself, and I'm sorry, I meant to talk about that earlier, but
wait, is she 57?
She's 57 now, but she was 50 back then.
Oh, okay. Because I thought she was only like 2 or 3 years older than me.
It says she's 57.
Okay.
So for her 50th birthday, she gave herself a birthday present of a threesome with 2 dudes. And she described how it was. They was flipping her around, spinning her around, and doing all of this other stuff to her. And so we're asking the question, like, basically, who's to blame for not that specifically, but why? Okay, this is a better question. When did ladies start kissing and telling? Because I'd have took that to the grave. Okay, I would have never told nobody that. But anyway, let me get to these questions. And Sunlight says, serious question. How can a woman's mind be valued when Donovan said 2 smart people can't be together? Hold that thought, brother, because you did say that a few times. And Moni says, Donovan, there's a such thing. You can be a webcam model, and some people get on there and they just show their body, but many of them like it. It's one young lady show, and she's not making a lot of money on it. Okay. And Leo Son says, men sit up on social media all day talking about your mind, job, and degrees don't matter. Personality isn't mentioned. A woman's looks seem to matter most. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just keep it real,
true.
Right?
That's true. I agree.
And And Moni, I'm gonna skip a few of your comments just so I can get to some of these other ones, and then I'll start reading all of your comments again. And J. Joe says, pause for the record, only an extreme minority of only Sims 304s are making six figures, and they all look like supermodels. The majority of them are barely making McDonald's money. Wow. Sunlight says the same people
Come with the knowledge, brother.
Sunlight says the same people that you agree with when you're discussing separating from the Dems. Blacks been voting blue for generations, so why are you going against it, Donovan? And McGarrett says these colonizers are the ones that said they can override what God said. There you go. And Brother Jonell says there's nothing left to the imagination. Majority of women is naked online yet claiming they want a good man while being far from a decent woman. Inspiring a woman to be modest is fought against mainly by women, and majority of women is striving to lead their mates with their flesh above their mind. You know what? I love that, because that is so true. Not all, but a lot of women have not been taught that, hey, yes, because y'all men are visual, right? That's going to catch a man. How a woman looks, her curves, and you know, how she's got herself together. That's going to catch you. But what's going to keep you? That's really what we need to instill, not just for women, but for men too, because y'all got to do things to keep a woman as well. So those are the conversations we really need to be having. And Donna and I had this conversation yesterday on the podcast. And I said, especially when it comes to daughters, parents need to teach their daughters that Prince Charming needs to be more than just charming. You can't just be charming, because like the story we always tell our kids, especially our daughters, about Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Oh, the prince came up and he kissed her and they ran off into the sunset forever. But we don't tell the story like, great, he has a nice car, he's fine, he may have some money. However, he needs to have these things. He needs to be a protector, provider. He needs to treat you right. He needs to be respectful. Those are the things you should be looking for before you look for how he looks and how he pretends to act.
And let me interject with that right there. For you to have to list all those things, most real men should already have been taught to do those things, so that when you do see those signs, it's already done. The sad thing is, ladies, you guys keep picking the what do you call it, toads versus the frog or whatever it is. You guys keep making the bad decision because you're not asking enough questions.
And the other thing, as far as Prince Charming, parents need to teach their sons that it's fine for you to be Prince Charming, but Prince Charming got to know some other stuff too, right? And
I took all day yesterday swapping out a water heater by myself. Done, complete,
you go,
finished.
boy. You go, boy. And Gilbert says that Donovan, it should be the parents. However, not all parents want the responsibility of teaching their child, and that is so unfortunate. And Leo Sons that says that wasn't working. Grandma picked up the Friday check because she had 8 kids to feed, and Grandpa had 3 or 4 tendencies.
Now, you know, we're laughing about this, but it actually happened. It's like there was a thing on the Black Authority where David Ruffin, the story about David Ruffin, he left no legacy for his kids. It took Michael Jackson to bury him. He had made all of that money, and I know they got ripped off by the record company, but the money comparatively, if he was a regular Joe, he made a lot of money. What did he do? The minute he got access, money, what did he do? He got a car. There was only like four or five of them made that year, a certain kind of limo, expensive car. Went and got the white woman. All that other stuff left no legacy for his kids. And this is why when I look at a baby boomer and they talk about, oh, we're the younger generation is disrespectful, we don't know shit, blah, blah, blah. Well, motherfucker, we don't know shit because you didn't teach us shit. And it's because of you, just like some people said in the comments, you guys are the ones that started the sexual revolution. You guys were the ones that started doing the open drugs and all this other shit, free love and all that other stuff. Don't turn around now that your day is done and then you're mad because interracial sex is a fairly normal thing now versus when you were coming up.
And got it. So J. Joey says, Demetra Kaye, can you do a show about how women can be modest yet attractive? That's a very good skill for women to use. Women think they got to be naked to get a relationship. I would love to do a show like that. I would. I mean, I don't care if one person watches. I would love to do a show like that. I think I have.
We are not here to uplift Black people.
Shut up. I mean, I would love to do that. I really would. And you know, talk about from the male perspective as well. My brother Donovan, obviously, he's good. He'll be here as well. But my brother, he wants to come on more often and talk about those things as well. And so Moni says, Demetra, we have to stop letting people shape our narrative. Let's talk about Whoopi Goldberg. Woman didn't say anything and yet it's suspended. She would be dumb to go back to that job. Let's be clear. We'll talk about that toward the end. Let me get to the rest of these comments. And Yahweh says, I need that rocking mind. And Al says, Kevin Samuel said, the cookie is the most precious gift a woman can give a man. I think her mind is the most precious thing she can give a man. I think it's her mind, her heart, and then the cookie, if you will. To me,
I'd have to disagree because Al, there's cookie everywhere. So in capitalism, when there's a abundance of stuff, the price gets lower. It's supposed to get.
I mean, I get why he would say that, because that you're really sharing something that is so intimate with somebody, and you might want to make sure that that person is worthy of having it, and vice versa for men too. And McGarrett says, Pawpaw knew grandma controlled the sex. When Pawpaw saw that red rubber on bag on the back of the tube, he knew what time it was. You talking about that? Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bag.
Stupid. The hot water bag, if you will. And Evero, you say social media, example, IG has made it more too easy to monetize the sexual swag, reaching out to millions without traveling across the state lines. You ain't lying. J. Joe says, Demetra Kaye, modern women also think that just because a man has sex, I know what you mean, sex with them, that they will marry them, and it's not true. No, I mean, sex is nice, but will it keep somebody? And most of us are old enough to say no. Sex is not going to keep a man or a woman for the most part. Like, okay, our feet are on the ground. We're done with that 2 minutes of fun. Now what? What next?
Right. And then when are these modern women going to start putting demands upon a dude? If you put no demands on him, then you have no expectations for him to do anything that you really wanted him to do.
I will agree with that. And Gavetta says, oh my God, yes, she had a train done on her. Yeah. At 50, who cares? Right. I was like, yeah, you could have kept that to yourself. That was disgusting. And Donnie says, my grandmother was so modest. I only heard her say one swear word in my entire life, and it was in reaction to my behavior. I would rather at this point meet a woman like her. I value those things now.
Wait, your mama's black, right? Because most Christian black women know every curse word there is.
But I think he's really drawn, and I think that's very sweet, by the way. I think he's drawing a point that, he desires a woman that had some sort of control, right? She was very thoughtful of the things she said and acted in what they would call a ladylike behavior. But nowadays,
isn't there a song by Angela Winbush, Your Smile, where she's talking about her grandmother?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, nowadays you could be at any given Walmart and hear somebody getting cussed up and down.
In the pajamas and the bonnet.
A fact's not feeling says it goes without saying the man has to work and bring home the bread. And it goes without saying that the woman have to be waiting on heels, nice, sexy outfit, serve dinner, and serve herself as a dessert. Hey, baby, as long as you bringing home the bacon, shoes, it's not a problem. Wait. Let me clarify that. Not just bringing home the bacon, because I don't want to, make it seem like it's just like a money for that type of thing, but taking care of, responsibilities and being nice. Because I think we don't have that conversation, especially nowadays, that, okay, yes, the man should be able to bring home the bacon and all that other stuff, but we don't have the conversation. I'm speaking from a woman's point of view, so I'm not saying it's just on men, but we don't have the conversations like, money is cute, but is he respectful to you? Does he talk nice to you? Does he care about you? Is he considerate? Those are the things that really should matter too.
Right. How many of you guys have seen that video that's been out lately where they had a Hispanic lady and she was claiming that she was raised to serve men? And then the black girl was like, oh, no, I'm independent. That's did
that Hispanic lady have a man?
She did.
But the sister have a man?
No, she didn't.
Oh. And Al says AJ Johnson is the new Ayala Van Zant. Okay, so that's what I get to. So, and McGarry says women start kissing and telling when some of us brothers stop being men. And Gilberto says Demetra Kaye and Donovan, why do any person want to tell what they do in the bedroom who the heck cares? I mean, that conversation was so unnecessary. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
exactly what and that's why we were talking about. Is this lady trying to solidify her 304 status? Because we don't need to hear that. That's one of the problems I have with gay people. I don't care that you're gay. Saying that you're gay to me is telling me what you do in the bedroom. I do not care.
Well, we have been blessed with the presence of the pioneer. Long time no see, brother. Says, good evening, Queen and King and wonderful family. Yes, indeed. And I see that, Moni. Thank you so much for telling me that. And Kiki says, right, ladies don't kiss and tell. I really don't have an issue if that's what she wanted to do. She's grown. But yeah, the world didn't need to know it. Our people need to understand that everything does not have to go on social media or be told to the media. Very good point. And Leo Son says, right, what happened to discretion? Have a threesome with consenting adults, but geez, don't tell the world. We don't need to know your personal bedroom business anyway. Very good point. And Moni says, but I'll still say, Demetra, if we are due to be second class, that's not a good thing. That means that they will continue taking their narrative to exit from Babylon by any means necessary. And Facts Not Feelings, Donovan in his bedroom. Facts Not Feelings says, my ex-wife was book smart. She screwed me over. I prefer a not book smart woman knows it's her job to please me. Well, how about a balance? Well, how about a healthy balance of both? And sound like so y'all Donovan and y'all let y'all have that conversation. And Gavetta says at the end of the day, the well and the walls dry up. Then what do you what do you have to offer? Exactly. I mean, it's like, what next? What are we going to talk about now for the next 20 to 30 years, you know? And Brother Donnell says she was on Angelique's show called Lip Service when it first started. They brought up the subject of threesome. Okay, so it was on her show. Nowadays, what's private is no longer and it's for the streets. People don't respect their own privacy, most showing their WAP and telling everything they do with it more than men nowadays. And I would agree with you on that. And the Pioneer says some of these dudes aren't even that charming. Most men I saw growing up were scrubby looking and could barely keep a job. There just wasn't enough successful men to keep the standards high. Or were those standards not being taught anymore?
Right. Yeah. Pioneer, have you heard of this it's a new term, kind of like 304s. It's called hobosexuals. Hobosexuals. These are men that, all they do is sleep with women to have a place to live. Basically.
Yeah, that I've heard that before. And Thunder says, be a lady in the streets, a mama to the kids, and you know what in the sheets. No pain, no gain. Yes, indeed. And Sunlight says, a woman can ask a million questions. Doesn't matter if you're a liar. Listen, sister, I know from experience you telling the truth.
Sunlight, and I told Demetra this a long time ago from that great president that we had. Trust, but verify.
But to her point, I mean, you trust and for what because I feel like this, if a person has been on lying to you, I mean, they're probably going to do a good job of that. And then you get all in, you're like, damn. I tell y'all my story all the time. A guy, I was back in my 20s, he told me he was a teacher. It's like, Negro, you were crossing guard at the elementary school. Why are you lying to kick it? So you see what I'm saying? So anyway.
Yeah, I should have told you, but he was so bent on me telling you, trying to get with you. He said, come on, brother, don't rat me out.
No, for real. I dated a dude. He told me he was a teacher. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm dating a teacher. He's a crossing guard. And the Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, you've been conjuring Ike Turner up so much that with your muscles and beard, you're starting to look like him.
What the problem is.
Joe Nell says the Honorable Minister Farrakhan did David Ruffin's funeral and assisted with the cost. See, I love hearing those stories because Farrakhan, he's like he's done so many things that a lot of people will never know about, right? So that is awesome. Exactly. Somebody says it's not the women who are devaluing modesty. Okay, let's have that conversation.
Well, okay, wait. Okay, let's say I agree with you, somebody, and I partially do agree with you. Men do a lot of the devaluing, but we wouldn't devalue you if you wouldn't sink down to that level, right? Am I correct with that?
I'm gonna keep going. I want to get some of these comments, but I don't let me forget that because that's a very good talking point. And Maurice, how you doing? He says, I'm late, but I'm here now. You are right on time. And Evero, he says, men can be visual creatures as much as they like. The bottom line is if they ain't 6 foot and in the 10% of high salary earners, they've got no chance of getting a black woman who is a 9.
What is a 9? Name me a 9 in the black community. I'm going to tell you there is no such thing. There is no such thing as a 9. You know why? Because black women are beautiful. There is no number you can put on.
Because we're 20s.
Right. No, there is no number you can put on a black woman. So, I'm just trying to play that advocate because it's, everybody talk about a 9 like Beyonce. I'm sorry. When everybody says, oh, Beyonce's so beautiful, you could go to Texas, Houston, especially Louisiana and Arkansas. I could see a bunch of Beyoncés down there that look just like her. So when Kevin Samuels talk about, oh, she's an 8, and brother, I'm sorry. Beyonce's an average looking black woman, meaning she's just beautiful and gorgeous. That's it. But to be an 8 or a 9 or put a number on it, I don't think so.
Listen, Beehive, if y'all listening, Donovan's page is called Donovan Saadiq. Don't put them damn bees on my comment section. And Morning says, Demetra, 100% correct. The fairy tale is beautiful because they don't tell you that this man will sleep with other women, bring home different diseases, sometimes sleep with her men, with other men, and lie. Well, damn, Prince Charming. And he says, I want to be on the modesty show with Demetra. I'll show my pretty face for that. Okay. Don't forget, Donovan, we're going to have Anais on here. And let's see. Pioneer says, I don't think Whoopi.
I'm going to be in the comments for that damn show.
And Pioneer says, I don't think Whoopi should have been suspended either. I agree with Nelly Fuller Jr. A black person being a victim of racism should never apologize for giving their opinion on racism, race and racism. But let me say this really, really quick because I know I'm behind here. I want to get ahead. I mean, Whoopi, just like on this thing here, you can't say what you want to say and get away with it. Those people own those platforms, period, point blank. Now, if Whoopi would want to get together the cavalry and say, let's create our own stuff, that would be something that I would be interested in, but she'll be back. They'll take her on a tour, the apology tour, and, and she'll learn all about what it is they wanted to learn, and she'll be back. And Sunlight says, FYI, Donovan, the Bible is man-made also. And Martin says, I feel that anytime they can make Whoopi Goldberg have to apologize and spin her, they ought to tell you how they're going to continue controlling our narratives. Let's be clear. You got to know. Well, that's why black media is important. Stop going to their outlets for the narrative because that narrative is never right. Rarely. McGarrett says, I wondered did AJ get on top. She said they did a whole lot of stuff to her. Ugh. And April Lane, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, good evening all. He says, bringing home love and affection. Yeah, all of that. Like we need to really teach our daughters and our sons, like there's more to it than you having a banging body and him having a paycheck. And the Pioneer says, I had to Google what 304 means. Why? Says means laugh out loud. I think as a society, we are making this thing way too complicated. I knew you would say something like that. He says there are some women who are just naturally freaks and love sex. What's new about that? I mean, there's probably more women than you know that like that, but she would never tell. She would never tell because she's not supposed to, right? I'm a lady. And Fight for Black, you say, my ex was not really experienced in sex when we were married up to our divorce. I went home every night because I loved her, hated her for being a prude later in the marriage. Usually they say when a woman becomes that way in a relationship is for, and I'm not saying this is true for you, so please don't mistake me. A lot of times when a woman gets like that, it's because she's not into the man anymore for a lot of reasons. It could be anything. And Yahweh says, I mean, it could be something that she's with another guy, And Yahweh says, melanin is the delicious word up. Okay. And J. Joe, he says, that reminds Donovan, I think it reminds me, Donovan, modern women see nothing wrong when they wear a bonnet in public. And even women see nothing wrong with twerking on the table at a restaurant like at True Kitchen in Dallas. Yeah, that's horrible. And that behavior needs to be squashed. And Moni says, Demetra, not to mention Donovan David Ruffin did buy, just so you know, he did buy family members big, beautiful homes in the 60s, him and his brother that had a singing career as well, but most of it was used on drugs. Okay, and then Al says, Miami Dolphins hire Mike McDaniel, a white man from the 49ers, as their new head coach. So there's all that.
Of course.
Right. There's all that going around about the head coach situation in the NFL, that they're not hiring black men. But again, I feel the same thing about the Whoopi situation. Why are y'all crying about what the NFL won't do for you as black people? Take the 70% of black players that they have, that's the product, if you will, go form some other leagues and be done with it. Stop trying to be accepting it into the white man stuff. Like, it's like saying the slave saying, "Massa, give me the control. Give me a little control of the plantation. I just want a little control."
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's your thing. Did you hear the other black coach? He's in the college ranks right now. And the one that's making the allegations, he was saying that he was offered money to tank games. Now, like I said, I'm not there, whatever, but I'm just using my common sense. If you were offered that, why didn't you go to the authorities of the NFL or whatever and report that? You see what I'm saying? It's like, your position when you were the head coach, there was no problem. And I'm not going against the brother. I'm just saying it's.
You know what? Why I'm going against the brother? And that some of y'all might get mad. I'm not necessarily going against the brother. I really don't care.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick, I know.
Yeah, I don't care, because it's like, where was all this rah-rah when Kaepernick was going through his thing, and now all of a sudden the man that did you dirty, you want everybody to rally behind you? It's like, nah, make it do what it do, bruh. You didn't have all that steam and energy when it was going on with other people, but now right,
exactly. And when it comes to coin and money, I'm gonna keep silent because I'm getting my money. Kind of sounds like black politicians, huh? But anyway, when it comes to all that, like I said, and Colin Kaepernick was standing up to change a system that was oppressive to black people around the nation.
Yeah, he wants to. This coach wants to change it because they screwed him over. It's like, man, go on some damn where. And April says, bowing down and becoming submissive is something that happens naturally when love is in her spirit. Yes, indeed, it's submission and bowing down, if you will, is not something that's forced. It's something that she would do with pleasure if the entire situation is befitting of that. Like, if she feels comfortable with that and she's been treated right, it's like, I always say shit is my pleasure.
For some reason, you pick the drug dealer and you think he's going to change. He's in and out of jail. You're getting madder and madder because your fairy tale prince didn't come true. This guy never had a job, whatever the deal is, and you're mad at the world and you take it out on everybody else and all this other stuff. So again, I agree with you. I agree with you. But I'm just saying, how does that happen when we keep making bad decisions?
Pioneer says, Donovan, as soon as you said the video featured a Hispanic woman saying that she was raised to serve men, my mind immediately jumped to our sisters, and you had to drop the second shoe, the proud black woman.
I did.
And Amoni says, those that brought the free love is the same oppressor, Donovan, that took us to captivity and sex from us without asking permission. Never forget that. Let's be clear. Same ones want to get rid of CRT.
Well, what about accountability within our own community? The pimps, the drug dealers, the criminals, the molestation that goes on to our black women by relatives and people that we know within our communities. When are we going to start taking some responsibility for our own actions within our own communities?
And Kubler, it says, serious question, Demetra, how long does a 304 phase last? I wish that I had some expertise on that.
From what you told me last night, sometimes into your 60s.
And I'm 30, so you know damn well I don't know, okay? No, but for real. Honestly, I don't have any experience with that. And I was a good girl, I still am, okay? It could last forever to some people. I mean, I don't think there's an age limit on that phase. I mean, some people, like a lot of older women, they might get out of a relationship or a marriage, later on in life, and they're like, child, I'm just gonna give it to everybody. But I don't know. I'm gonna ask Pioneer, would that make her a 304? And thank you so much, Thunder, for the donation. I really love and appreciate you. And you guys, we do have a Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. If you want to donate to the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. You also say Law 16, increase value through absence. If it's something everyone can have, is it truly valuable? Value is created when only a few can obtain it. Yes, indeed, brother. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, you want to become rare. And like you said, I mean, if everybody's had it, why does anybody else want it? It's like, ABC gum, right? Already been chewed. Not too many people want to chew on some gum somebody else done chewed on. It's disgusting. And Jeremy, how you doing? He says, I'm just catching up. If it hasn't been said yet, lowering. It says the lowering of the grandmother's age to the point of mothers and daughters are between 15 and 19 years apart. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of young grandmas still going to the club. Sunlight says, I'm unsure on when people are opposed to kissing and telling. I hear men discussing what they do in bed and with whom among each other all the time. Yeah, and that's true.
And lying their asses off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just putting a lot on it. Talking about, it was 45 minutes. Like, damn well you putting 43 more minutes on it. Okay. It was about 2.
Right. I had 2 of them,
Yeah, they had you. And let's see. And the Pioneer says, I heard the term homosexual before, but to be honest, I didn't even know what the term meant until you explained it to me. Laugh out loud. I thought it was another variant of the LGBT. And Morning says, when we talk on modesty, let's be clear, we're not talking about women having to be made to look like it. I think even Aunt Jemima, unattractive clothing, told not to wear makeup, but just be conservative. McGarrett says, sounds like Joe and Kamala are lying. Pioneer says muscles and beard. I said mustache and beard, not muscles. Laugh out loud. And Kiki says, but people can't get bamboozled, Donovan. We're human. Some men and women have PhDs and lying.
Right? Oh yeah, no, absolutely. What I'm trying to say is, okay, everybody's entitled to get bamboozled or make a mistake, but the second, third, fourth mistake, that's what I'm kind of talking about.
And yes, indeed, if y'all could hit the like button, that would be so dope. And Sunlight says, no, Donovan, you're not correct. And Ray Sean, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetra, brother Donna in the room, and it's back at you. And McGarrett says, the women look better than Beyonce at Popeyes. Oh, wow. Leo says, I agree with what Donovan said. There's more more to consider, I think. But men would change if women required better behavior. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. If we would say, okay, brother, you cute and all, but I'm gonna need you to, to do more than just be cute, right? And I'm gonna let you, Sunlight and Donovan, y'all see y'all going back and forth. So Leo Sunset, for example, if broke men couldn't get women/sex, then all men would have 2 jobs. Man, it should. Some of those men need 2 jobs because they got too many women. I'm just saying. And Pioneer says, Don, you have a point that it's silly to attach a number to sisters. There are so many sisters out there that go above and beyond any numerical standards of beauty. You better believe it.
Yeah, and how could you put a number on a race of people that come in all shades of colors, sizes, height, just we're just a unique group. That's what I'm saying. But when it comes to our women, they're just unique. We're the only group of people where Black women can give birth to white children if need be. I mean, no other group does that. I mean, they're a unique group. So when I see Black women, I don't even see how you could put a number on a Black woman in regards to looks and physicality.
Absolutely. And Al says, Whoopi comments helped or hurt the promotion of the Color Purple remake. Well, is she in the new Color Purple? I don't know.
There's a remake or a stage show?
It's a musical, actually. It's going to be a movie. It's a movie. It's going to be a movie.
They're going to see how Hollywood is. They're so out of ideas. They're just destroying movies, classics.
I saw the Color Purple on Broadway in New York when it first came out. Really good. But yeah, I don't know if it'll hurt if she's in it. I mean, it probably won't hurt it because who's going to be seeing that is going to be us, right? And Howard says men and women said 110% together. And Jeremy says no pain, no gain is one of the worst songs made by and for our people, women. A little piece of man is better than having no man at all, and inspired beginning for 70s generation to settle for anything. You said a word there, but
right.
You said a word.
You're right. No pain, no gain.
Yeah, I mean, having a piece of a man is better than having no man at all. I mean, that's what women was running around singing. It's like, no, how about not having no man if he ain't gonna act right? Okay.
Or better yet, instead of having that thoughtism culture, we always talk about, whatever. We don't respect each other's relationships.
That's a whole different man.
Think about that. Seriously. This man is married, or this woman is
married. Write that
married.
down because I want to talk about that as soon as I get these. Write it down, brother. And Thunder says, find an older lady, preferably a librarian, and you'll be happy. You'll be amazed at the skills these librarians have once you get them behind closed doors. Those glasses with that chain on it, good times. I can't stand you. So she gonna be.
Remember that episode on Martin with Miss what's her name? Beverly Johnson was on it.
Yeah, Miss Trinidad.
Yeah, Trinidad.
Miss Trinidad. And Jonelle says, it's safe to say most are grown yet child-minded, doing what children do, kiss and tell, exposing themselves. These young women have no chance being raised in whole culture and open to vile-mindedness of sexual predators. They are oblivious, more or less even taught about women, know what they draw half naked or naked, yet complain about the bites and decently is best. There is much appeal and respect in modest dress. Yeah, we just really need to teach that. Really start teaching that again. God, Lee Donovan, it gets worse and worse. And Jeremy says, and good evening, Demetra and Donovan and Black First Family. Yes, indeed. Good evening to you as well. And Kiki says, I agree. I'm tired of our culture with these numbers, high value, low value. I'm sick of it. God felt we all have value. That's why we were up. We were here. Just stop it. It's doing nothing but dividing us. Real talk. Get the man or woman who's right for you, not one the world approves of. I love that. And the Pioneer says, I don't think a woman loving sex and a lot of it makes her unladylike. To me, it shows she carries herself. That determines how ladylike she is. Is she feminine, quiet, delicate, respectful, etc.? Okay. And Jay Joey says, when women stop having sex after marriage, usually means she never liked you in the first place. It could mean that, or maybe she just turned off and like, I got a headache, honey.
Well, she probably married you for the money in most cases, or your status.
I mean, no, I think we need to really just kind of stop right there for just a second, because I want to read these comments. That's not necessarily the case. I mean, a woman could be into you when y'all first get together, things are going good, and then maybe things happen. And I'm saying, let's say you as a man turned her off. A woman is not going to want to be with you. If she's turned off, maybe you ain't coming home, and you know, you having these little side inbox conversations with other women, and it could be a whole lot of stuff. So I think it's very possible, because I'm speaking from experience as a woman. I've been in a relationship before. I was into my man or whatever, and things went south, and I'm like, I got a headache.
Fellas, that's when you pull out the $100 bill and you say, okay, I got $100 cash.
I still have a headache, but I want the money. Yahweh says, I'm 6'4". I'm 6'2" and funky. Okay, I could dig it. And Sheed, how you doing? He says, we here. Yes, indeed. Yes, like. And Stan says, conditional masculinity is unacceptable. So I'm sorry, but I'm not accepting the inverse. All right. Pioneer says, I think we should support Brian Flores and his pursuit for justice, whether he supported Colin or not. Different Black folks stand up at different times for different reasons. We should still support them. I knew that was going to strike a nerve, and I really want to be quick about this because I know we got comments. I just don't really feel it for Brian Flores as much, because at the end of the day, he's going to be all right. And I just think, was it injustice in the NFL because it's dealing with you, or has there always been injustice in the NFL? And so you want people to get behind you, but I don't know. Did he say a whole lot when Kaepernick was and Eric Reed and a few others were going through their things? Because I don't think it's fair for you to say, oh, they're treating me unfairly, but then it's like you wasn't boo-hooing when it was done to everybody else. So, and J. Joe says, what video of the Latino woman spoke about that? So Donovan, if you could give them more information. And Jonelle says, our solution is do for self. No need to beg when you got your own. They're going to do what they want with theirs. Like Calvin and Django, these are my niggas, and I will do what I like with my niggers. And he said that Black people got to get into a self-productive mind and stop begging as slaves and doing as the slave-minded. Absolutely. And J. Joe says a 304 phase lasts forever. It's not a phase. Yeah, it just depends on, who the woman is. And to her, she may not think that's that. Maybe she's just like, that's who I am, right? And Sunlight says, yes, like picking thoughts over and over again, then spit all your vitriol on Black women because your preference. Can you please follow your own advice? And I agree with you. I mean, it's a choice. It's like if you picking those type of women, why are you mad at the women and not mad at yourself, right? And Pioneer says Brian Flores is not only Black, but he's also Latino. I kind of figured out the last name. Says the Latino community should be also be rallying around him too. Yeah, but you don't hear them talking about that. And Ashonda, how you doing? I hope I said that right. Says Whoopi said on an inconvenient truth about the Holocaust. She said inconvenient truth about the Holocaust. It was white on white crime. They canceled her for it. Can you be both victim and oppressor? Do victims now have power? Nope. Well, I did a video on it, and I agree with her as far as it was white on white crime, right? Like they try to say it's black on black crime, but she said that it wasn't about race, and she said it not once, but she said it 3 times. And the Holocaust was about race. We know that if you study, you read Mein Kampf or anything that has to do with Hitler, he was trying to create a master race that didn't look like him, by the way, but he was trying to do that. And he considered Jews to be an inferior race of people. And as I said, he considered Jews to be an inferior race of people. And we were at the bottom of that. It was Aryans who were supposed to be pure, and Black people were at the bottom. So it was about race.
Right. But what you guys are missing in that whole thing was, and I'm not disagreeing with anything that's been said in regards to it is about race. Whoopi got comfortable, just like Oprah did, just like Gail, and thought that she could sit up there and correct white women and white people because, oh, I'm the exceptional Negro, so I'm just like you guys, so I can tell you what it's about. And they slapped her ass down, again, upholding white supremacy, and that Anna Navarro chick, doing the most on the other side. So, we got to, keep it for what it is. She got too comfortable where she's at.
Absolutely. In April, he said, I sit on mine like a hen. I know that's right, sister. And Jeremy says, women went after Monique and Fantasia when they both were trying to better Black women thinking. Yeah. And they did. I mean, it's just the truth. It was like who they think they talking to. Because, Fantasia was basically, in a paraphrasing, saying that women need to be submissive, and Monique too. And yeah, a lot of women had a problem with that. But, they got men.
A lot of Black women had a problem with
that. Most High, how you doing? LLPRS. Most High says, hello, everybody. All praise is due to the Most High. Yes, indeed, says Black first, always struggling and striving against the most satanic, corrupt society on the planet. Yes, indeed. Pioneer says, I think too many Black folks take their values and opinions about sex from white folks. If we lived only around each other, would Black men really be disrespecting and ridiculing other older women who love sex? I'm old, but I'm not that old. I just don't think that kind of stuff should be talked about. Like, why do people need to know what you're doing? When do we become to the point to where it's like, girl, let me tell you, I got my wig snatched off last night. I mean, like, I understand you might have that conversation with your girlfriends, but why have that kind of conversation in public and mixed company online? And
yeah, well, it's like we were talking about earlier, Demetra. A lot of young girls look up to these so-called successful Black women, and this is who they try to emulate and stuff. So if you're out there and you're a role model for whatever reasons, and they're saying, oh, well, AJ Johnson had threesomes, I'm going to have a threesome too. And just, when I hit my 50, years old, this is what the problem is, because we have a lot of followers rather than leaders within our community.
Yes, indeed. And Thunder says 3 or 4 mindset can last a lifetime. I had some older white women try to shoot their shot because back in their day, it was taboo to be with a Black man, and they want to live out some repressed fantasy with a BBC. And Kiki says, yep, nowadays, when they're bragging about how long they put it down, you have to ask them, is that with or without the blue pill, brah? Hey, Brother Terry, how you doing? And thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. You say peace and blessings. And Pioneer says, Beyonce really isn't that, oh my God, y'all had a beehive coming for me. Beyonce really isn't that good looking, in my opinion. What's so beautiful about her? Because she looks like a white woman. Is that the standard of beauty? Whoever looks most like a white woman, yeah, that is pretty much the standard of beauty in America, just to be honest with you. I'm not saying that's our standard, but it is. And McGarrett says, I have a good job, but my wife says she married me because I have conversation and charm and charisma. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about right there. Money is cool, but can we have a conversation? Because I love to talk, and most people know me. Know I like to talk. I do.
You have a J-O-B if you want to be busy. Ain't nothing going on. What happened to that song? See how y'all double standards.
A conversation, charm, and charisma. I mean, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I like to, talk about ideas and things like that. So I love it. The Pioneer says, what you two are talking about reminds me of a big discussion at work at how The Color Purple was a classic and they should have left it alone. It's sacrilegious to do a remake of it. I agree. I think they should leave it alone.
Yeah, Hollywood's out of ideas. You guys know all these remakes and crap. It's just making the thing terrible. Or they make a part 2 to it and it's terrible. Coming to America 2 totally sucked. But anyway, you guys, just real quick, I'm going to show you how deep Demetra and I was. Demetra calls me, or did I call you at 3 a.m? 5 a.m?
I called you.
Okay, yeah, at 3 a.m, and we're still no. I sent you the video, and I was take a look at it. Right. Yeah. So we always have long conversations that kind of go early in the morning while you guys are still sleeping. We're formulating ideas.
Yeah, because I just happen to be up. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the night, and I saw that Donovan was up. Yes, I guess it was 5 my time. So I was actually probably getting up, and I was like, "What is he still doing up?" So I called you, and what were we talking about?
Talking about that new news outlet that we're going to talk about.
Oh, the new news outlet. Yeah, we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. All right. So, and then, so I think they should leave The Color Purple alone as well. Don, you said the 2019 Miss America was beautiful and intelligent, rest in power. Wish I could have met you. Let's see. Wish I could have met you. You wouldn't have done it. Yeah, and that is very sad.
I know, she was gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
But that just goes to show you, check on your people, y'all. Check on your people. We just assume that everybody is all right. And a lot of times people are living quiet lives of desperation, and you ain't living no quiet life of desperation, but you might be. So, brother, are you all right?
Dell and the cats are taking care of me.
Good. A lot of people are living quiet lives of desperation, and we think that they're okay because they're beautiful and they're always smiling. But a lot of times a smile can mask, real severe depression. And so we should do as much as we can to reach out to people, tell them you love them, and, just do a wellness check. Hey, everything okay? Like, I'll be in your business. And people who know me, if you even tell me that you're not having a good time or something is not right in your life, if I can help and fix it, I'm going to do that. Because you know what? I just feel like, especially if we're in positions to help people, we should, and it don't have to be money or anything. Like, it could be just, hey, I care about you. Let me know if you need.
Give me my flowers before I'm dead.
Yeah, like, I love you. If there's anything you ever in the world you need, please let me know. And I told my daughter, I ask her all the time, I'm like, is everything going all right? She says, yeah. I said, because if you do something to yourself, I'm going to kill you, right? And we laugh about it, but I just want to make sure you're okay. So,
but Hunter, I have a question with that. Are they sure she committed suicide? Because to jump off the building, whatever, I think. Wait, she lives on the 9th floor, but she jumped.
They said that she had some documented, and forgive me, her name slips my mind, but they said there was documentation that she was having some mental health issues, and she had made a cryptic post.
Right. But the reason why I'm kind of questioning, I wanted to make sure that they do their due diligence, because you have a lot of zaddies that are killing these sisters out here. And I'm just saying, I hope they do their due diligence with that.
Hey, brother Marcus, thank you so much for sharing the link. If you guys are on Facebook and watching this somewhere, click on the link. And if you want me to read your comment, I will be glad to do that. And Leo Son says, Donovan just said a word. We need to respect each other's relationships. I have never understood why anyone would knowingly entertain a married man or woman. Keep that thought in mind. I want to talk about that, but I want to get to these comments because I know I'm very behind. And when's Fairclough, how you doing? Good evening. And Jonelle, you say you love everything you buy, you receive wrap. You truly don't trust anything given to you open, especially if you didn't see it open. You even question why it's open and how did it get open. Nowadays, women are too open and truly to unwrap and suffer from living. Women that are loose to the max, and she got to have it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Women nowadays are too mentally unwrapped and open legs. Yes, unfortunately. And Kubler, he said, don't be putting them damn bees on here. And he also said, don't know, every man love decent in the streets, but a freak or 3 or 4 in the sheets on the exclusive. Yes. But everybody ain't got to know your woman is doing all of that. When they see your woman in the street And she be like, damn, she seems like a really sweet, nice lady. And you be thinking, man, if you only knew what I knew.
Yeah, but you ladies bring up a good point though. You hear all these younger ladies, modern women, talking about, well, I don't want a man to control me. I don't want a man to control me. If that's your husband and he don't want you to dress provocatively like you're still available, why would you expect that? Right.
Oblige him. Oblige him. Don't be arguing with your man. And I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. If your man wants you to put a little bit of clothes on or whatever, put some clothes on. Because the question is, who are you doing this for? Nobody should see what I see. And my dad taught my sister and I that from as long as I can remember, he would have a conversation with us. So anyway, Anais, you say, make sure that's where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, you said, listen to the song Modesty Glow by Yana Sarai. Great song. Okay. And April says, a woman who loves a married man is because of the lies he is telling the mistress and the allure of what could possibly be is fed to her imagination. I'm going to get to it. Hey, Beverly, how you doing? Leo Son says, women stop having sex for a variety of reasons. Maybe, for example, she's exhausted from working outside the home, cooking, cleaning, etc., while he's on the couch. Yep, it's a
just
whole.
Lay back and open your mouth.
What?
Because I have never met a girl.
I was looking for your mute button. Jeremy says Brian Flores will not get much backing from the Latinos because he's a Black Latino. White and Black Latinos agree with the white people and don't think racism will happen to them until it does. Very good point. And J. Joe says, used to be if women wore glasses, it was an instant sign she was a white material. That no longer applies to nerdy women that are 304s. We now have to filter through the varying degrees of bad for the least bad. Damn. And Finder says, Queen, I totally understand what you mean about him being quiet while Colin was going through his thing. But now he's saying something and it's legit. He's right, regardless of his motives. And again, really quickly, I want to say this. We don't have any control. Black people have no power. We have no power, and we're continuously trying to elbow our ways into their things. Like the NFL has been around how long? 100 years, give or take, or close to it at this point?
Years. Over 100 years, yep.
They ain't letting no Negroes run the plantation yet. What makes you think they're gonna do it now? So let's talk about doing our own stuff, right? I mean, I just see it that way.
And think about the rules that they give the players. The players get in trouble, they get suspended, all this other stuff. Owners could go and participate in human trafficking, sex trafficking, and nothing gets done. The charges get dropped, all of that.
Exactly. And Thunder says, no, I didn't. I was worried that they might pull a Tulsa, Oklahoma on me and be the mother to the grand Cyclops who might happen to be the local sheriff, right? You smart. And Casey, how you doing? Says, stop sinning and turn back to the Most High God of Israel. That's the only way we are getting out of this mess. I agree with you. I think I have left God out of the equation a lot. So I totally agree with you. Sunlight says, I agree that people should respect each other's relationship, especially marriages. You have content creators encouraging women to be side chicks. Again, mixed messages. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I think the God context was taken out of the United States and in schools and stuff like that. That was under a Democratic leadership.
True, but we don't have to take it out of the homes. And I'm not talking religion necessarily. I'm not religious, but I do believe in God. The Pioneer says, I don't want us to get to a point where Black folks start ignoring other Black victims of racism because they didn't meet our standards of wokeness, whether it's Brian Flores or Whoopi. I'm not saying we should ignore it. I'm saying, really, what power do we have? Like, Black people have bigger fish to fry, and God damn it, excuse my French, God, I'm sorry, but football ain't something that we like. We dropped the ball when it came to Colin Kaepernick. Okay, Colin is doing other things and stuff. I guess he's gonna tell a story with Spike Lee eventually, but we got bigger fish to fry. Negroes, the NFL don't like you. Stop whining. It's the same thing with civil rights. I want to live next to white people. I want to drink and eat in the restaurant, white people. It's the same concept. And so it's like, y'all want, I'm not saying you, Pioneer, but I'm saying Brian Flores and whoever else, y'all want Black people to be more distracted and go sit with you in the cause of football. Those people don't want your Black ass running the plant. Let me finish. Black ass run the plantation. So what part are we not getting? And Whoopi's the same way. Whoopi sat on The View and talked bad about Black people too. She sat up there with Ted Danson at her roast, and he had blackface on, and she's smiling and kicking and laughing. And so it's like, Now that you got your Negro wake-up call, you want the rest of the plantation to be mad. But see, when Nat Turner was trying to wake your ass up and say, let's go and get away from this, let's go do what we need to do, you was too busy telling and getting little crumbs of the butter biscuits from Massa. But now that it's happening to you, you want everybody to be up in arms. And so I just don't have that energy for them. I wish them luck, but that's on them at this point. And I'm sorry.
Isn't Goldberg a Jewish name? No. Okay. Anyway, but no, but I also want you guys to think about this when it comes to the NFL. This Super Bowl that is going to happen next Sunday. Half of the homeless people in LA County are Black. Do you know where a lot of those Black people came that became homeless? Exactly where that stadium was built. And if you go on my page, I put up and showed how much the nosebleed tickets are in SoFi Stadium. Do you know how much it costs just to get the worst seats in the stadium? $2,800 minimum. So Black people who are most of the entertainment, the regular Black folks can't even go and enjoy the football game. It's unattainable. You've got white people now flooding into a predominantly Black area that can't even go to the Super Bowl. And a lot of them were made homeless because of that stadium. So when you guys are having your tacos and your potato chips, guys, I want you guys to think about that.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna get to these comments because I see that we're really behind. And Wins, you say, isn't Jew a religion, not a race? Well, I mean, I guess it's probably both. I would think. I mean,
90% of Jews in the United States identify as white.
Well, I mean, so maybe it's a religion. I don't know, but I think we see, because I'm one of those people. I just think to me, it's a silly argument in that it wasn't about race when Hitler clearly said that it was. So I'm like, why are we trying to rewrite history? And whether we agree with any of what Whoopi is saying or not, Hitler said it was about race. He was making a master race and he deemed the Jews to be inferior. So I don't understand why and I'm not saying this about UNs, but why are we having this back and forth? He said it. Like, there's no debating. It came out of his mouth. So there's no debate there. Really. And Tracy says, and if I didn't already, hello. He says the Black Authority did a program about Whoopi. I haven't seen it. Brother Phil did one as well on the African Diaspora News Channel. Again, if you guys, I know most of you are, but if you're not, subscribe to the African Diaspora News Channel. Please go over there right away and do so. And Ashanti says, I think it was more about colorism than race. Jews and Germans are Eastern Europeans. I did a video about it. Race is a Jewish made terminology to stop all criticism of their religious sect. Okay, so I mean that sounds good to me. But
I'm gonna go to that page. I'm gonna go to that page.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, it is what Hitler said, whether we like it or not. He said that. And McGarrett says, good night, Demetra and Donovan and family have to be at work for 3 a.m. Yes, please get some sleep. Says, be safe, everyone, and you be safe as well. And thank you for tuning in. Ashana says, enjoying your content, by the way, Demetra. I appreciate that. And yes, we have to go over to your page as well and check you out and subscribe. And Brother Jonell says, their so-called Holocaust was a civil war for that landed them the Balfour Act from Europe. It was white on white crime. And Whoopi name is not even Goldberg. It's Elaine. I need to be true to herself first, but they're giving Elaine a reality check. Used a Black woman to give that suspension. Yeah, because the president of ABC, it's Karen Elaine Johnson. That's her name. And so you see how they really feel about you, don't you? And April says the lyrics are berating the women as they jam along to the tunes they love to chant. Yeah, very disgusting lyrics. The Pioneer says a lot of our people are looking for any excuse to bash and this another Black victim of racism. It's not like Flores or Goldberg were sellouts before. Whoopi has always been outspoken. I mean, I'm going to keep it real. Whoopi has been a sellout. I mean, how do you sit next to your husband who's a white man in blackface and kikiing and ha-ha and making, I know there's the Friars Club, which they were roasting her, but as a Black woman, if I was married to a white man, I'd be like, I know you effing lying. What you not going to do is go out there in no blackface. So I don't know how for the culture or for the race that is. Yeah, Whoopi will say some things, but Whoopi also has a track record of speaking ill of Black people you know, and the whole blackface thing, people weren't upset about that. As far as Brian Flores, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of tears to cry for him in the larger scheme of things. He's going to be all right. And if it means anything to y'all, he's got a white woman. They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
And unfortunately, he will never get a head coaching job, much less work in the NFL again, because all those teams are going to gang up together because it's a class action lawsuit.
And and Jay Joey says Beyonce is actually a 10, and women who are 8 and 9s and 10s, it means they are universal, beautiful by all culture and races. Laugh out loud. That's a good description. And good better. Thank you so much for the donation. Says thanks for the great conversation on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. And Brother Jonell says, what others look are majority of Black women striving to reflect other than a white woman. Few even stand secure in their natural beauty like Queen Demetra Kaye. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think we need to embrace our our natural beauty and not strive to try to look like that of European women. Sunlight says very true. And the Pioneer says, you seriously think Beyonce is a 10? She looks like a good looking white girl with a nice butt to me. Nothing special about her.
What butt?
She has a butt now. He says, what does that say about us to exalt her to such a level? Well, I think Beyonce's nice looking, but I mean, I don't think she's like, you know, the end all be all in beauty, but I think she's a beautiful woman. And how y'all like that beehive? Was that good? And Adon says TikTok mirrors Hollywood, but their secret is they allow their the whites to steal Black it said BF intellectual property and get paid for it. Oh yeah, and then but we keep going on there as Black people doing stuff and then letting them steal it. So I mean, like, whose fault is it?
And what's crazy? What's crazy? You got these older Black women on TikTok that was created for children on there twerking it up and doing the most.
Yes, indeed. And April says Zaddy, and the Pioneer says you're right. I think Janet Jackson, especially before the nose job, Laugh Out Loud, looks much better and is much more attractive than Beyonce. I think Kelly Rowland is too, and I agree with that.
I thought Kelly Rowland was just beautiful until she started enhancing herself again too, because everybody kept comparing her. Yeah.
And Maurice says everything is being classified as suicide. I'm sure there's more behind the death. I mean, it could be. It very well could be. And Gavetta says Demetra Kaye, her name was Chesley Chris. Okay, I knew it was that. I just couldn't remember what it was.
And she was a lawyer. I mean, and looking at her last video, she worked for Extra as a correspondent and stuff. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know, but I hope they do their due diligence, because that just doesn't sound right to me. Because she was like, I'm happy where I'm at. That's why she didn't want to go back to being a lawyer. But I could be wrong. But I just hope with all these sisters being killed by these zaddies that that's not the case.
London says the Latina on the Pink Lessons was gorgeous, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Okay. And Leo Son says I have no beef with Beyonce or a celebrity, but it's easy to be a 10 when you have stylists, makeup artists, personal chefs, personal trainers, etc. And it's their job to create the illusion of perfection. You better preach. And Kiki says, especially when you know people deal with depression. My guy best friend, over 30 years, suffers from it. I check on him weekly without fail. And we have to stop putting a certain gender on mental health as something men and women suffer for. Don't wait until they call you. Call them. If you haven't heard from them, check on your peeps if you love them. Absolutely. Check on your peoples.
Yes. And Kiki, here's what people don't understand. They did a study. Do you know that they took a sample over a couple of years in the Black community? Do you know that most Black people in the Black community suffer from PTSD? And we're talking about not just post-slave, the actual trauma of the violence that goes on, because they compared us to what goes on in Lebanon and the Middle East. And the kids had almost the exact same reaction, like they live in an exact war zone. So yeah, depression would be prevalent in a situation like that.
And yes, please, if y'all could hit the like button, I would appreciate that. And Pamela, how you doing? It says, hi, how are you, Donovan and Demetra? I saw a movie, Moonfall. It was a good movie. I will listen to the whole show soon. Well, we would appreciate that. Not to see what this Moonfall is about. And one who cares, you giving thumbs up and black hearts. We appreciate that. And Ragnar, how are you doing? He said, that's right. The Democrats took prayer out of our schools. Yes, indeed. But we don't have to take it out the home. The Pioneer says, we talk about Black ownership so much. Here's an opportunity for Black folks to get some ownership in a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we want to ignore it like we did with Byron Allen. Listen, bruh, I get what you're saying, but it's not ours. Like most of the stuff that's owned in the United States, it doesn't belong to us. It is a plantation. We have 70% of the players that are black, and what Jay-Z and somebody else who was a minority owner. When I say minority, they ain't got no say so. Jay-Z was supposed to go to the NFL and make all these big changes and differences. The only thing was change the money from their hand to his. That's the only thing he's done. Has he spoken up again for this Brian Flores? I don't know. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, we supposed to stop what we doing. Hell, we need somebody to pay attention to us. Like, we still getting reparations. Have any of those Negroes, Brian Flores, Jay-Z, or any of those people that's running things, minority owners in the NFL, said, give my people reparations? Have they said that? Have they said, give the people who are spending, a good part of their paycheck to come to these games to watch us, give them reparations? We gonna be all right. We got millions of dollars, and some of them billions we'll never ever be able to spend. And Byron Allen too, he was trying to buy a network, and I think they screwed him over. But at the end of the day, Byron is going to be all right. When is the last time you seen any one of those Negroes put it on the line for the rest of us down here on the ground level? When? I'm just asking. And Thunder says, and if you're married and your wife won't sleep with you, get an older side piece. She won't give you any kids and very little chance for the clap. Listen, I'm going to get to
that. And
she
might even blackmail you.
I'm going to get to these, and I'm going to get to that. I promise. The one who cares says, speak, Demetra, exactly. And Everett says, at Demetra Kaye, absolutely true talk. And the Pioneer says, I hear what you're saying. However, if the attitude is only time racism matters, if it happens to them personally, who cares? What's the next black person is going through? Where will we be? I mean, again, like I said, I think Brian is going to be all right. We want to go all hard in the paint for him, but not that it truly matters too much to me, but I think it's fair to bring it up. He ain't married to a sister. So I mean, they gonna be all right in the larger scheme of things. Brian don't need us to pick up picket signs for him. Like I said, you got Ray and Pookie who have been done dirty by cops. And when was the last time anybody said anything to the caliber for them? I mean, like, we really need to have these conversations and stop big upping these people in high spaces that, they didn't treat me right today. So what? They don't treat black people right in warehouses all day long, and you ain't said nothing about it. And Marie says, have y'all seen the price of those Super Bowl tickets? Shit is crazy. Yeah. And Donovan was just saying how outrageous it is. And Raise Z or Green, I would say that. How you doing? He says a Jew is a race, though. So that's what I'm saying. I guess to me, it could be one or the other. But of course, everybody has, their own interpretation of it. And one who cares says,
well, if Jew is a race, then what's Hebrew?
I mean, y'all want to really be honest? I don't give a damn. And not to be disrespectful, I just don't care that much about what it is. You know what I mean? Because we don't even know what the hell we are, but we are so well versed on what they are. You know what I mean? And one who cares says, you're right, Donovan. Just like the stadium in Dallas, they cheat folks out of their homes. Oh yeah, it's all about the almighty dollar. And Kubler says, when I was in the service, the old 304 is used to proposition young soldiers with contract marriage. Said BAH and separate pay increase. Donovan, was that your experience too? Is it okay to wife for 304?
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing it. What do you mean? It hasn't, nothing's changed. They're still doing it. Demetra? No,
Yeah, how you say Proverbs 31? Yes, Proverbs 31 woman. It's what is desired in a woman. And Marie says race is not, Jew is not a race. See, so we have a little bit of back and forth. And above, beyond, and forever says, peace of the Hebrew Israelites, black people are the real Jews. So I've heard. And the Pioneer says, I think we should focus on both ownership in the NFL as well as building our own athletic institutions. We can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time and keep both bases covered. Black people have no power. It is a waste of conversation to talk about getting a piece of the NFL. That is not for your black ass. The only thing is for you to work your ass in those concession stands, serving the popcorn at the games, and running your ass up and down the field if you're fortunate enough to do that. That's
for the minimum wage, no benefits.
That's the only thing you power you have is to run the popcorn stand at the games and run up and down the field with the ball. Let's be honest.
And it's funny that when this homeless epidemic started popping off is when they started building that stadium and people just lost their homes. I mean, historic neighborhoods were gone and black people have no place to go. I mean, you ain't got no money. Where you gonna go? So they end up being homeless.
Right. And Jonelle says Hitler was right. They're all white race playing dress up. And Wynn says, I'm not saying it wasn't about race. I'm just asking about Jew being a race. It's not even a nationality. So, but again, I mean, I don't know as much, but I'm more concerned on, do we know who we are as a people? And Jamarcus, how you doing? Long time no see. And Shahid, how you doing? He says, get on them, sister. Yo, Donovan. He says, you going to Ukraine for Joe Biden?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And you also say, I saw a lady in the store today looking like Beyonce, but she was looking for groceries to microwave for the family. Stop. Just know that I don't be microwaving no food, okay? It's from scratch. Pioneer says some of our sisters do a lot of putting on and will get on the internet twerking and grinding, but when it comes to actual sex, might even still be virgin. Our people are something else. Yeah, a lot of them can't deliver. And Jeremy says even Auntie Maxine Waters says things blacks like, yet she still does not break her neck or a heel on her red bottoms to truly empower black people. Facts. And Stanley, how you doing? It says, I'm still boycotting the NFL. Don't know about anyone else. They showed where they stand. And I think that's very admirable of you to do that. But again, Stanley, they want you to do the work, but those players ain't bringing their asses off the field. Those coaches that keep showing up for these interviews, even though they didn't hire somebody else, they not going, saying, well, let me take my talent somewhere else. But they want you to do the heavy lifting and then ultimately make things better for them. How does, and I'm not saying not to boycott, because I too was boycotting, but how does boycotting help us? It really only helps the players and the coaches who won't, boycott. They should be boycotting, right? And then Facts Not Feelings, it says Jay-Z don't care nothing about how much is in his pocket. Okay, and then Stanley says getting an old woman sounds like defeat. Jeremy says some of you are lost thinking that even black slave owners got paid reparations for the property they lost after the Civil War. I guarantee you, white people shut them out too. They got it and they took it back and they gave it to the white people. And
just like they're doing to the black farmers right now. As soon as they give them some money, are we going to sue and hold it all up?
Right. Pioneer says, great show as usual, king and queen. I got to go and make this money. Peace, family. Well, don't work too hard, brother. We love and appreciate you so much. Facts Not Feeling says Jew is not a race. And Kubler says the baby boomers ensure the black race will forever be a permanent underclass for white society, segregation. So what chances does blacks have at entering a treaty with the U.S. acknowledging our sovereignty?
Won't happen.
And Ashana says, well, Donovan, Hebrew is us. We are the true Israelites. Demetra is right. We don't know who we are. That was intentional. Psalm 83. Yeah, but we arguing, and I'm not saying y'all, but I'm saying in general, arguing about who they are. Let's find out who we are first, right? And Easy says, NFL, nothing but plantation as well as NBA. Yeah, so we talk about we going to have some power. How? How we going to have power on something we have no...
We're going to hold them accountable once they get in the office. Once they make their billions, we're going to hold them accountable.
That's not how that works, okay? That's their stuff. Just like...
But that's what the Democrats told us. We're going to hold them accountable. We got to get them in the office. We're going to hold them accountable once they're there.
Yeah, but that's like, you own a house, you run and own and control that house. You're gonna let somebody come up in there and talk about, well, I want to control the back bedroom. I want the master bedroom in your house. You're gonna do the same thing the NFL owners are doing. Like, you might be able to go look at it. I might let you go sit on the chair or something in there. But as far as owning it, no, you're not gonna. It's my house. And
the policy here is
exactly. And Fly on the Wall, how you doing? Says, how's everyone doing tonight? But did y'all know the cheapest price for a Super Bowl ticket was $5,000, and they can have that?
Yeah, the other day was $2,800, and that was at the top of the Escalade, at the very top of the stadium.
And at this point, the cheapest seat for a Super Bowl ticket is in your living room. And Jeremy says, you need to research Semitic so that you can see which one. Okay. And Thunder says, I know a guy who lived in a maid/nanny. He has a live-in maid/nanny. She's in her 60s, no kids or husband, but still looks nice. The wife knows and gave permission. She said no outside kids and diseases. What is your opinion? Oh, wow. So she's like, you can do what you need to do with the maid. I mean, if that's the arrangement they have,
wasn't that the arrangement with the governor and his wife when he jumped on the maid and had that baby?
I don't think that was the arrangement with Maria. Okay. In fact, Not Feeling says I stopped watching NFL 20 years ago. Wow. And Jeremy says, y'all need to research the word Semitic and see who actually fits the term. Okay, got it. And Easy says, D. Donovan, do you think George Floyd bill might have deterred recent killings in Minnesota?
No. These race soldiers are going to kill no matter what.
Yeah, and I think, is it Minnesota that just got rid of the no-knock warrant after they just killed the recent young brother a couple of days ago? I think they did. They read the mayor.
That brother mayor. Yeah, I think it was Minnesota.
Yeah. And Morning says, have a great evening, Donovan and Demetra. Much Detroit love. See you next Sunday. Yes, indeed. And take it easy, sister. And Stanley says, y'all, I'm looking good this Sunday. I might add looking healthy. Yes, healthy is the goal. Thank you so much. And Brother Jonell says, they got money for wars but can't feed the poor. It's not hard to do the right thing. Our struggle is still for reparation, separation, and our self-elevation beyond this white nation. Slavery is our dependency on this white nation that only serves us injustice. The NFL is the plantation full of well-paid blacks within a white regulation. Brian will be all right. Like Stephen, Black people must focus on building our sovereignty. Yeah, I mean, we got enough fish to fry to be worried about somebody getting treated wrong in the NFL. It's like, Negro, they didn't just start treating people bad in the NFL. They've been doing that, but now that it came down to you, it's like, bruh, good luck. I'm not saying I don't wish him luck. I do, but I just think Black people's focus is so divided on everything else. Like, we don't need that as a distraction. And Thunder says, I figure she's getting attention and affection. What's the problem as long as the wife is okay with it? Yeah, if that's their arrangement, then so be it. JJ, how you doing? Says NFL, grocery store, transportation, all try to make up the pandemic money. Good point. All right, so we're going to get out of here, but I want to touch upon what Donovan and a few of y'all said about people messing with other people's spouses, whether it's a man or a woman. If you know that person is involved, I don't care if that person is shooting, they shot at you. If you know they're involved, stay away from them. Stay away from, don't entertain them. Like I say this a lot, and I'm only speaking as a Black woman, but as Black women, we need to learn sisterhood again. If that brother is stepping to you and you know he got somebody, regardless of what he tell you, I can't stand her, she ain't doing it, because that's what people do, right? Tell that brother, when you totally free, then you can be with me. But I will not dishonor my sister, even though I don't know that woman. I'm not going to dishonor her by getting with you. You know why? Because I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And if you don't believe anything else, the laws of the universe. And if you believe in the Bible, it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Nobody escapes the boomerang. It comes back to you, whether it is good or it is bad. So put good things into the universe so that you will have good things come back to you. But nothing good is going to come to you by trying to pursue somebody else's man, trying to pursue somebody else's woman. And again, it's ABC gum, already been chewed. Why do you want to get with somebody that's already being used, not in that way, but by somebody else? You know, there's plenty of men and women to go around without you having to be with somebody else's man. And as my dad would always say, God has not shortchanged you to where you need to be with somebody else's man. And also think about it, well, damn, if he'd do it to that sister, I got my turn coming soon. If he would dishonor the woman he's with by flirting with me or trying to get with me, shit, he gonna do it to me next. And that's all I got to say about that. So if you don't want it coming back to you, don't put it out there. And if you want it coming back to you, make sure you put something good out there that's going to come back to you, something you want coming back, because this is how karma works too. A lot of times we think, oh, if I do something bad, I'm going to get it back like I got it. Nah, sometimes it's worse because you ain't prepared for that because you were so haughty and thinking, well, I'm all of that. It ain't going to come back to me. Oh, you just wait. And when it comes back to you, you ain't going to understand.
And if it don't come back to you via your peers, it's going to come back to you via your children.
It's going to come back to you and you're not going to like it. You're not.
Because isn't there an old saying that our moms used to say? You know, if you really treated your parents really wrong and didn't honor your parents and do what you're supposed to do, the curse is when you're going to get a child that's going to be just like you, is going to kick you in the ass.
That's what they say. So anyway, I'm gonna read the last of these comments before we get out of here. Pamela says, hello, Thunder says, second wife unofficially. Okay, well, if that's the arrangement they got. Freddie B, what's going on? He says, Brian Flores has a white woman too. Yeah, I mean, let them figure that out, you know? And Pamela
Why
says,
should he be happy?
why should we care? Pamela says, have a good week, and you do the same. And Thunder says, they're swingers. Okay, well, that's the arrangement they have. Brother Jonell says, don't be a home wrecker, period. Exactly. And Pamela says, have a good week. Yes, indeed. And peace unto you, Brother Jonell. Kubler says, Donovan, can you finally cut the comment section on your YouTube videos?
Yeah, I answered that. It should be on. I'll look into it again. Like I said, again, YouTube and the social media thing, these guys are doing a lot of stuff that
Donovan got in trouble. He was giving, YouTube said, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when I'm away from Demetra, I go into my Ike Turner mode.
He get off the chain. So anyway, let me get to the rest of these comments. Kiki says, right, stay on woman code. Yeah, period. And I says, you reap what you sow. Absolutely. And Kubler, blessings to you as well. And Shonda says, I love the idea of the modesty topic. It's a rare trait these days. Yes, indeed. And we will have that discussion in more detail. And if some of y'all sisters want to come on, we could talk about it and put Donovan in the comment section. And Beverly, you say so true. And one who cares says karma is better than Google. And Gilberto says, good evening, Demetra, Donovan, and Black First Family. Until next Sunday, stay positive, be kind, treat others as you would like to be treated, and check on your family and friends. I love it. And Thunder says, it's my civic duty to help the elderly. We bet. Peace on to you as well, you guys. And again, we have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal if y'all want to help. Become a member of the channel or the Super Chat and all that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like and all of the good things that keep us up and running. Like I said, big giant thank you to Donovan, the recovering Democrat. Of course, you guys, we put out podcasts throughout the week of different topics. Also, thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything you do behind the scenes, and the YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. We love and appreciate you. We could not and would not do this without you. Donovan, what say you before we get out of here?
Hey, you guys have been great. Be safe this Sunday, and next Sunday is the Super Bowl. Demetra, are we going to be doing a podcast during the Super Bowl?
I don't see why not.
Well, yeah, me and you, we don't have a problem doing it. I'm just saying for the people that might want to join in. But even if you are watching the Super Bowl, you can always catch the recast on the Demetra Kaye Show.
Right. So, you know, and if we don't, for whatever reason, we'll always keep you abreast, and then we'll do a makeup show for whatever reason. So anyway, we love and appreciate you all. You guys stay safe and have a great week. Peace.